Mati mic gua. Halo, halo, halo. Siapa yang sabar dengan yang Dimas? Woi, Yohanes halo. Nah, ini yang ditunggu tetap ya. Tapi mulai tapi tragis ini. Oke kali ya. Perkiraan siapa yang menang nih coy? Pasti gak sih orang pasti PRX. Dilihat 7 jam sih gua nggak nonton ya hari ini. Ada yang ngadilit cover nggak tahu dia nggak kayaknya. Yang rekti babi rekti ya coy, ada iklan coy. Oh fuck. Wah ini apakah ini pertanda nonton iklan kita? PRX. Halo Jinx Pro Amanda. Wih, pada ancog. Aduh ini pertanda. Wah jam sih boy soek ya. Udah 2 hari nggak belajar masih delay sih kacau sih. Kalau hari pertama dimaklumin sih sebenarnya. Gila cuy, nontonin apa namanya, nontonin Valorant ini kena copyright mulu anjay. Hari stream. Ada. Oh udah lagi setup tuh. Tinggal walk in aja. Walk in stage. Aman ini cuy. Harusnya aman ya. Udah lagi DM.
It is day 3 here at VCT Pacific Kickoff and things are about to get dicey. We have our first teams qualifying into playoffs, but we also have our first teams up for elimination, the first of the year. Who's it gonna be? We're about to find out. My name is Mika Fabs, and it is my honor to be here on the desk with William and Akarios. Thank you for having me, gentlemen.
Applause as you make your debut here on VCT Pacific. Happy to have you here on the broadcast.
Yang masuk playoff belum ada ya? Ini penentuan ya? Penentuan ya yang match ini ya? Yang pertama masuk ya? Dari kemarin belum ada kan? Start PRX pakai monyet lah. Kenapa aja anjing kan di Singapura? Telat nggak banget kamu telat monsterin apa? Penentuan nih yang lolos. Gila. Kayak kalau bukan kalau nggak liga gitu kayak kerasa cepat ya. Misalnya nih ya, ini PRX menang nih, lolos ke playoff. Menentukan dia ke Madrid itu pas di playoff sekali match doang, ya kan? Satu match lagi, udah GG cuy. TW Madrid ketemu ini namanya ditahu Vinicius JR. Jam 1 di jadwal Akmal. Akmal ini Lamka ya?
it just looked like they were having some good fun, testing things out as PRX often does in tournaments. But now that you've had a bit longer in the offseason, how much better do you look? Meanwhile, on the
Habis
bracket,
PRX
as you mentioned, it's not just some
Genji.
teams, it's actually half of the teams in Pacific now facing
Siapa
potential
dulu, cuy?
elimination. Bleed and G in Group A, Team Secret and DFM having to face off against each other.
Kayaknya ada
in Group B,
T1
and then
Zeta aja.
RQ awaiting
Berarti
a
2
losing
tim
match
ya,
between
2 tim.
PRX and GENG.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
gonna be
Bleed
very exciting.
GE.
And as we can see, we have a Bleed versus Global Esports for our
Gila,
second match. We have
berarti
T1
hari
versus
ini
Zeta later on, but
kita
first
melihat
up,
2
as we
playoff
mentioned,
ya,
it is going to
2
be
tim yang
PRX
masuk playoff.
versus GENG, and I think everybody here is so excited to see PRX, of course, make the
Kamu
final
telat,
team
Yogi.
to be making their debut here over on the Pacific kickoff stage. And everybody, especially since we did have, of course, that big champions run last year, they made it all the way to grand finals, the first Pacific team to make it that far. Everybody's
Kita
super
bisa
excited to see their form
dukung
today.
Indopret, coy. Tuh.
Jing, Pro Amanda baru saja mengirimkan dukungan 10.000. Ceban pertama buat ngopi-ngopi.
Thank you Jeng Pramanda. Itu loh, ngopi-ngopi masih kah? Berarti kita siklusnya dukungnya gini ya, coy. Tet. Indo. Ah, 3 Indo nih. Nah ya. Pasti kita T1, pendukung T1 banget ya. Ada kokoh soalnya.
And he was
Setuju,
still
coy.
flying around
Dukung
on that
T1.
raise as well. So, like you said, I agree that in terms of statistics and individual skill, it should be a lateral change. But the style that Jing single-handedly brought to this team, it actually made a big part of their color, I would say. So now with Monyet, it did look like the comms were there, but in terms of the speed and the compositions that they're able to run, maybe some more flexibility, but that means maybe they need some more time to cook.
Maybe.
Apa,
Monyet did mention
Kak,
that, you know,
sama-sama
he
Bang
was
Kaca,
having a
mantep
little
nih.
bit of trouble adjusting to
Libur
PRX
kah?
just
Enggak.
because their style can be a
Gue
bit
cuma
shocking.
Gue
to
cuma
say the
nonton
least.
PRX Genji
But,
doang.
of course, we
Cuy,
did see that a
soalnya
little bit of
abis
the
itu
passing of the torch happen,
ada
as you
latihan.
mentioned, during off-season tournaments, right? And
Jadi
I do
nggak ada,
feel
coy.
like perhaps that's, you know, that's
Sumpah
part of
sebenarnya
the
match hari ini
blessing
tuh
happening here. So
seru-seru
I have
semua.
high hopes for Monyet, especially since
Tapi
we saw him last year. He was one of the standout players that we saw
gua harus
throughout
latihan,
Pacific.
cuy.
Yeah, I mean, he was just absolutely incredible.
PRX Genji 2-0. Lead GE 2-1. T1 Zeta 2-1. Ini GE. Ini 2-0 Menang lawan ini di playoff bisa ketemu DRX kalau DRX menang lawan Talon ya. Coach Alex, ada Hantu Kelantan, ada Tank Rusia, ada Monyet Bali Pride, ada Ko Aaron, Cool Boy, ada Jason, si rapper. Nah, ini siapa nih? Ah, ini Meteor nih, Meteor. Meteor. Oh, itu laki ya yang kecil. Moonskin. Latihan bang biar bisa ditontonnya. Ah, itu loh Alka Gunawan, makasih ya. Itu loh, wah thank you banget loh. Governor kemarin sabi kue coy cara mainnya.
That's right. Everybody has a little bit of
Wah,
input
ini
into
sih
this power ranking that's going to be happening, and it's going to be spread all throughout the year. We're going to be keeping our eyes on these players, Achilles, and as we can see,
buat
Governor
2 hari ini ya power rankingnya ya. Nanti belum main aja Forsaken langsung 96 poinnya coy. Ya. Natra gokil loh si Natra ini coy. Boleh ya si Natra.
Governor is leading the charge in terms of overall score after one match for all the teams. It's also a lot of the new faces that have joined VCT Pacific, right?
Oh
It's the
iya,
likes of Ease,
iya
it's the
Korea
likes of
semua ya.
Flashback, all these players that have had
Masa Indo dong, ya nggak sih?
They've already proved it in their opening matches.
Inisiator, controller, padahal Izu duelis ya. Pas waktu itu main Yoru dia bagus ya nggak sih? Kasih tahu nggak sih pemain Indo nggak sih? Ntar controller ada main freak, ya kan? Inisiator, aduh inisiator Indo siapa? Dustin ya? Dustin udah main. Latihan betul, makanya segame doang, oke? Aman ya? Udah gak sabar pengen nonton coy. Gue bangun pagi, nonton. Terus gue mimpi kemarin, wah tanding nih lawan Genji. Ternyata mimpi bangun. Masih mimpi coy.
of course,
Doain biar
we are
kenyataan
dealing
ya.
with PRX versus a GENG first and foremost. But of course, I don't believe GENG has had a win over PRX at all in the entire Pacific League just yet.
No, I mean, GENG, aside from their big streak that they had at the beginning of Pacific last year, just completely fell off a cliff, and then obviously with PRX getting
ini
launched
last
forward, having been the champions of Pacific,
pertemuan
they
terakhir
didn't
ya.
have to clash in the LCQ. So it was just that kind of one faded meeting where GENG was very much falling off a cliff.
Ada suruh
Now
nonton,
reworked
udah
roster
cuy.
with bringing in
Tapi nggak enak lah gue ajak ke Adel hari ini. Nanti lah pas lagi kosong.
GENG are looking
Maksudnya yang pas lagi benar-benar kayak kemarin tuh bisa nonton semua matchnya gitu. Tapi gue nontonnya masuk game kayak enak. Tuh Logitech apa tuh? G Pro Super Lite 2 ya?
Perhaps not to be toppled by anyone else but PRX. We'll have to wait and see in 2024. But I like that you brought up.
Gila monyet rambutnya udah kayak ini coy. Kenapa diwarna-warnain, Ciok?
Korean Valor, right? Very textbook, waiting for the utility, getting the info, and PRX just does not deal with that. They just say, we're done with it. We want to just play some more Valor. We want to get through the games as fast as possible. But the new GENG, I mean, they are firing on all cylinders. They've got not just Texture, but Meteor there to also be able to flex onto the double duelist, or even on the Sentinel. People who can always go for those frags, go for the contact plays. Karon also continuing to be touted as a great aimer.
Aaron kok nggak kelihatan cool ya fotonya? Kayak lagi kayak gitu ya. Yang lain nyantai, dia kayak pas lagi pose yang nggak siap gitu anjir. Ya kan kayak kesel gitu, tau gak lu? Seharusnya yang biasa kan dia cool kayak gini kan, kepalanya gitu ya. Enggak yang gini ya kan, jari gini atau apa kayak dulu tuh fotonya. Atau yang gini atau apa ya. Ih, anjir udah kayak huluk coy. Lagi bad mood kah? Sama ada nggak ada Cadel, mana Cadel? Ada Cadel.
Meteor was still putting up solid numbers despite only playing duelist in the final map of that series or something like that when they were running double.
Gue belum ajak Cadel karena hari ini gue cuma game doang nontonnya. Gue chat Cadel. Ada match seru loh. Padahal hari ini seru banget ya.
This is going to be an incredible clash. We've always looked forward to, something versus Buzz, something versus Saya player, etc. Now we get this matchup, and it's bound to be absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and this stat line, obviously, Textures is coming off of that opening match, so it is a bit skewed. But even if you kind of think about averages, Textures is currently on track to average pretty high stat line all throughout. So something very stable, scorelines obviously very impressive, but hopefully he's also upgraded, because that's the only way he's going to be able to match that.
I look like a grandfather who's about to sit down in his recliner, smoke a pipe,
it's getting to that time.
Tell you tales about the war.
Let me tell you about the time I saw
Jadi sih kami butuh Bang
PRX
Kaco.
do
Ya,
this.
mana sabar nyokap gue nelpon coy.
Right? He was like, I wasn't prepared, and you're already on the same team. So this is going to be so exciting. I cannot wait for this matchup to begin. And as we know, we have the spotlight on a lot of the rookies, a lot of the new faces on the rosters as well. So I can't wait to see how Karon is able to, step up, I guess, and what his next level is. Especially since we've just begun our year here at Kilios, and we're already getting matchups like this. It's so exciting, and it's such a fresh slate to write all of these narratives on.
No, It really is, and I mean, this is just kind of a product of the tournament itself. It's just going to be so rapid fire, back and forth. You know, just boom, boom, boom. You're in this tournament, you're out of it. Suddenly, maybe you're at Madrid. You know, so it's high octane. That's something that PRX thrives in. GENG trying to prove that they also can do that, but there is going to be so much added pressure on Karon. I mean, that first matchup already a bit of a high stakes one for them. Obviously,
Orang mau DBU kah? Iya kayaknya. Butuh nobar yang fokus sama gameplaynya. Itu loh guys.
Was a bit of a big thing for him, but he managed
Harus fokus dengan gameplay ya.
This is
yang
gargantuan comparison.
Yeah, I mean it's a
mereka
very
lakukan
tough
harus
order here
kita
for anyone in
ini.
this group.
I think that we're about to throw it to the stage right now.
Mana
So
kabar
let's check
Cok?
out what's happening.
Alhamdulillah baik. Bangkrut. Hop.
VCT Pacific Kickpop 여러분 오래 기다리셨습니다.
Wah, udah nih. Ini mau boxing kah?
Pacific의 강자.
Feeling gue dia mau boxing deh ini Alex tuh. Udah siap-siap tuh. Lawan solo.
VCT Pacific Kickoff. Everyone, the wait is over. For me, I have GENG and PRX's coaches, and I'll have a little chat with them. So firstly, GENG's coach, Solo, I'm gonna ask you about the RRQ match you had last time. So how do you felt with that match? RRQ와의 경기를 지난번에 이제 이기셨잖아요, 최근에. 어떤 소감이 있을지 궁금합니다.
RRQ가 그 퍼시픽 사이에서
Wah!
잘한다는
Wah!
계속
Masa itu katanya cuy? Kata Solo?
저희도 조금
Wah, belum aja diserang Kingdom ya.
그리고 저희는 저희 조가
좀
죽음의 조라고 생각했거든요.
parah sih. Emang kayak gitu cuy maksudnya?
RRQ 선수들이 너무 잘해서
Sebenarnya dia ngomong apa sih?
저희도 좀 힘들었지만 네, 그래도
Kak,
이겨서
ini aja.
기분이 너무 좋았습니다.
Biar seru aja.
Honestly, it was a tough match because we heard from everyone
iya,
that
sorenya.
RRQ was one of the high-ranked team. So it was
Oh.
tough, but it was really happy to eventually win the game.
Oh gitu
그럼
maksudnya.
다음으로
Wah
또
lu udah
승리를
buruk
축하하면서
sangka lu lamka dia ngomong apa babi
두
lu
번째
ya.
상대가 PRX입니다. 기분이 어떠신지 궁금해요. So you were really happy with the win with RQ,
Streamer
but
provok
next you
enggak,
met
Cok.
PRX right away. So how do you feel about that?
Kan belum ditranslate.
저희는 그 조 보고 나서 무조건 PRX 만날 생각을 계속 하고 있었기 때문에 네, 그리고 워낙 퍼시픽에서 제일 잘하는 팀이기 때문에 네, 저희가 네, 조금 긴장하고 네, 잘해야 될 것 같습니다. 네.
Yeah, after seeing the group match schedule, we knew that we will meet PRX someday, and we prepared for that. And now it came true, so I think we'll be confident to win through the match. 그렇다면 이제 시간이 이렇게 많이 준비되지
WP
않았어요.
1 match aja mau
그래서
latihan,
이거
guys.
준비가
betul.
좀 어려웠을 것 같은데 어떤
Nanti
준비를
kalian bisa
하셨는지도
nonton
궁금한데요. So physically, you
yang
didn't have
nobar
that much time.
fokus
but
gameplay
how
ya.
did you prep for the match against PRX?
Kalau udah ditranslate tahu artinya tahu kocak.
최근에 경기 안
Bani
한지
suruh
꽤 됐고
liatin Genji main bang biar
다른
fokus
팀처럼
pas
첫
rematch.
번째
Iya cok.
경기를 하지도
Bani
않았고
kebanyakan mikirin
정보가 너무 없기 때문에
Abigail anjing.
대충 뭐
Alex suruh
공격적으로 하는
belajar
것도 알고 있고
bakur bang
그
biar
부분에 있어서 대처 방안을 생각도 하고 있고요. 그리고
kayaknya dia ngerti
저희
tipis-tipis nggak sih?
방식대로
Kamsahamnida
저희가 하던
doang.
대로 하면은 네,
Agisimida.
가능성이 있다고 생각하고 있습니다. 네.
There was
Balikan
a
Bani,
pretty
enggak.
decent match to watch for PRX.
Nggak tahu
so we
maksudnya.
didn't have that much
Oh, Bani
information.
kalau misalnya
But you know, we've been prepared and we know there.
Sumpah,
there's,
chance
like,
RRQ
lots of
itu gede
plays,
banget,
so
coy.
I think we are
Demi dah.
really prepared well.
Dia udah
so
3
we're ready for
tim
the
nih.
match. Okay,
Maksud
so
gua
you
kayak-
just heard what they said, right, Alex?
Oke lah kalau ngelihat
So the first
paper
question
RRQ orang
is,
pasti banyak
last seed,
dukung apa
You won the Pacifics.
ngedukung
2023,
atau ngelihatnya
what do you
PRX
think
yang menang
about
kan.
the
Cuma
kickoff
di
matches
grupnya
so
dia
far?
tuh udah pasti
I mean, after watching everyone, I think everyone
harusnya
has
untuk
upgraded, you know.
play-in
I think the quality of the games have
RRQ
improved from
sih,
last year.
udah nggak mungkin Genji.
And,
Kalau Bani yang
I mean,
fokus
I
ya.
hope that we also can show good showing.
Ya,
Oh, okay. Really humble, right?
apa anjay?
네, 여태까지
더더니-
킥오프 경기를 보면서 다 모두 실력이 향상된 것 같고 저희도 좀 더 열심히 해야겠다는 아주 겸손한 답변을 해줬습니다.
Ada Ciadel.
그래도 다음 질문으로 넘어가
gua nggak-
볼게요.
gua nggak enak
젠지
ngajak
팀에
Ciadel
대해서
kalau cuma
개인적으로
segame.
어떤 생각을 가지고 있는지 묻겠습니다. So, what do you think about GENG personally? They're right next to you, but
I mean, I thought they had a really good showing against RRQ. That was quite impressive. And the word on the street is that they've been playing very well in practice. So I'm looking forward to a good game. But that being said, I think I'm also very happy to share the stage with Solo. He's one of my heroes growing up, you know, because I used to play 1.6 and yeah, he was like dominating everyone in Asia. And also the last time I think we coached against each other was LCQ 2021 where he won. So hoping for a little bit of revenge today.
Alex ngeliat apa ya?
I'll expect that. 이번에 RRQ 상대를 경기를 봤는데 정말 잘한다고 생각이 들었고 또 개인적으로 솔로
Tapi dia
코치와도 정말
kayak
기대가
ngebaca
되는
sesuatu ya?
친분도 있고 또 저번 작년 2020,
Tapi dia
2021에서도 인연이 있기 때문에
lah
이번에는
itu dia
좀
sambil
이겨야
ngeliat
될 것
bawah gak enak.
같다. 시원하게
Kayak dia tuh ada hati
보여주겠다라는
yang harus
말을
dijaga
전했습니다.
gitu loh. Mungkin dia
또 마지막으로
kalau dia
각오
ngeliat
한마디
bener-bener
들으면서
ngeliatin
마무리해보겠습니다. So
hostnya
Lassie,
tuh,
tell us your
wah,
mindset heading into the
ada
first match.
pertarungan.
I think in PRX our mindset from day one is always every time, you know, it's a circuit system, right? So every year is new
Ntar
year
ada
for us and we start from zero.
ributan yang terjadi kan
Our
Manis.
achievements of the past don't mean anything this year. So we're just gonna go in and try not to underestimate anyone and just play our best.
오케이, 나이스. 저희는 항상 매년 새로운 마음가짐으로 0에서 다시 시작하기 때문에 이번에도 또 새롭게 더 강하게
iya, Cahya yang main,
시작해보겠다고
Joy.
아주 겸손한 답변을 들었습니다. So thank you Alex and Solo. Wish you best of luck. 네, 지금까지 알렉스 감독과 솔로 감독 만나봤는데요. 두 팀의 이 남다른 각오를 들어보니까 이 재밌는 경기가 될 것 같은 느낌이 드는데 잠시 후에 선수들을 만나러 또 가보겠습니다. So after listening to the coaches, I can tell this one's going to be a max entertainment. So shall we go meet the players?
Jing jadi mas-mas watch party ya lagi. Sumpah kalau yang kayak Jing ya.
Gotta love these
Jing
interactions
kan
with the coaches and
jatuhnya
Alex
dia
playing
kan
up against one of his idols, of course.
nggak
That's
bisa
gonna be
kompetitif
exciting.
lagi karena suatu hal yang harus dan wajib dilakuin gitu. Pasti dia tuh pengen banget nih kalau nonton nih. Nah, PRX lagi gimana match apapun lah. Wah, dia pasti greget banget tuh. Main gue pengen turnamen.
But I love just the quote there of just saying like our achievements in the past don't matter. It's a reset. We're coming to a new year. It's a bit of a different roster. So we're just going to tackle this one step at a time.
And I think that's the best way to look at it, especially in a game that moves as fast as Valor.
Karena
We've
bukan
seen so many
keinginan
switches
dia yang
during
harus
the year. So, Alex is trying to
istirahat
get as
dari
prepared as
kompetitif
possible.
kan.
Also, that whole lore,
Wah,
I think it
gua
also paints a good picture of where Solo's at in his career
harusnya
right
gua
now.
main
He's such a
nih,
storied
anjay.
veteran, and yet as a coach, as a
Ini
head
kan
coach
Army.
in Valorant, he just hasn't seen success. So he's desperate for that victory to try
Kayak
to
lu
get
di
to a higher
AE.
spot.
Well, we did hear
Ya,
that
setiap
Genji
gua
has been preparing a lot
ngelihat
for PRX. We're gonna
anak-anak
see
gua
if it is
nge-scrim,
indeed enough,
kayak gitu.
right? But you're absolutely right. I love that mentality that Alex is bringing
Pengen
into
main
this
nih,
back
pengen
to zero, right? If you're tilted and it's round whatever,
Sekarang
it's back
gua
to zero
harus
the entire time. That's championship mindset
bantu
right
mereka
there.
gitu.
And I'm pretty sure that Genji right now, they are feeling like they're up
Itu
against giants, even though Alex says
kayaknya
it doesn't
dirasakan
mean anything. But what means something is
Kakak itu
definitely the
miskom sih.
singular Genji prediction right here. William, do you want to explain yourself?
Oh man, we're starting this early in the year.
You're normally the guy that is a Genji hater.
Well, hater
Sekarang lu
hate is
jadi
a very
hantu.
strong word. I'm usually
Kalau
doubting
Ricky
the Korean
masih
teams, but first of all, I
karena
was
tahun
very
ini bakal
impressed. I
rombak
thought what they
besaran.
showed against RRQ, and this has nothing to do with
Seharusnya
my vote
iya.
for RRQ, but simply I thought
Tim
Genji
mana
really
sih
played
yang
up to their potential. I thought they performed
yang
what
udah di
everyone
liga
wanted to see
gede
from
gitu
this
ya,
roster.
terus
And my
masih
expectation is I think on the flip side,
kalah,
RRQ
terus
is
masih
gonna be quite
mempertahankan,
ready to face
kecuali
off
paling
against
ya
players who are actually playing like, in their own freedom, right? Texture,
minimal
I mean, the likes of Texture,
mungkin
Meteor,
paling
I would say
kayak
even Munchkin. The fact that they can now just go out and frag
atau
the way they
dua nggak sih
wish to
maksimalnya?
is not a form that we've
Banyak.
seen from them in the past year.
Okay, Lias, what was the ACS on Texture again?
It was high. It was really, really high.
Yes.
But you're also you were ridiculing me for giving Texture a 10 out of 10.
Ini ya bisa jadi kita nggak ada yang tahu. Ya berharapnya enggak lah orang-orang Indonya ya. Tapi bisa jadi ya. Mungkin orang Indo cuma satu atau dua ya kan. Nggak tahu sih. Kalau masih kalah ya pasti ada perombakan. Gimana pun.
Texture played really well. I just think we don't know enough
Ban
where the
itu kudu
standard is,
dipasang
right? 'Cause,
sama
like, we
lu
don't know
atau
how much of
Dustin
that was also
kadu.
RRQ maybe
Kenapa sih
folding a little
Bani?
bit because Genji was looking so strong because they came out swinging.
Nah, sumpah.
At the same time,
Sebenarnya tuh
Genji
ya,
did also drop a map against RRQ. It wasn't a
dari
clean
pandangan
2-1,
gua ya,
so I think there's a
RRQ
lot
tuh
more
udah
to
oke
prove.
banget
I
tang
think
lu,
style
karena
was
dia
played
punya
Genji's actually gonna
duelist
match up against PRX quite
agresif
well.
sama
Do you think the old habits are gonna come in for
buat
Genji,
di
you
role
know?
duelistnya gitu sih. Mungkin harusnya
I think that this is going to be a close series. I
buat
think
lawan
that if
GG kemarin
PRX
tuh
do have that kind of
udah
a
gampang
proper
banget,
starting
udah
point,
harusnya
I haven't seen
menang
them yet.
coy.
They have to get back on stage. They have to get reacclimated to the environment. I could see this absolutely being very close. Genji absolutely has impressed
Apalagi
so far.
Jemkin udah
I'm
bener-bener
expecting
ngelakuin
3 maps almost no
role-nya
matter what,
dia
unless
gitu.
PRX
Gua nggak
comes
tahu
out looking
kayak
so much better than we
blunder-blunder
would have anticipated
Sure.
in
yang
the tough
terjadi
downtime that they have had.
kena
But
triktik gitu-gitu,
that is
wah
a
kesel
very
banget sih.
quantity, but maybe this will bite me in the rear, maybe it'll bite
Dia
all of
beli
us
di
in the
mana?
rear
Gue
here.
info rumah.
We're basing our predictions on past achievements. We are going off of that history. We are going off the
Maunya
expectations of
jadi
these players
cadangan
and
atau
of,
Jing?
you know, on Coach Alex. As that guy
Wahyu.
who can really pump the brakes
Pak
and
Abi
get
lu
that
kamu
mental
ke
reset
KGP
mid-game.
ya.
Listen, my rear has already been bitten thanks to Gen G actually,
Udah
so I
ini.
might as well just go
Kan dia
along with the
watch
Gen G
party.
ride here. But I love that you brought up the coaching.
Stockholm syndrome.
I love that you brought up the coaching thing because I keep thinking the actual
Model
kryptonite
gimana?
to this
Aduh.
kind of hopium
Maunya apa
for
ya?
PRX's opponents
Yang
is
kiri
that
kanannya,
Alex just knows when
bawahnya
to
nggak ada
go
tatakan
and
kaki,
knows
tapi
when to
kiri
resist. We
kanannya
saw
X
this at
gitu.
ABL. T1 came out swinging on Sunset with the
Harganya
Euro.
tuh
PRX
kalau nggak
just
salah
looked
800
lost like
ribu
they've
apa
never been
900
before.
ribu
It was
gitu.
6-0 or something like that. Alex just pumps both
Oh, ini kuat
timeouts
banget,
back
enak
to
banget
back,
ini.
and suddenly it just flips and T1's like,
sekarang
well,
RQ
we run out of
butuh
options,
apa
we don't know
menurut-
what to do. And
apa
even
ya?
after the game, I talked to the players. Devi was like, T1 looks scary. Like they look
Butuh
strong.
fokus
Sai is
sih.
firing on all cylinders. But at the end of the day, they still won pretty handily.
Kalau
Yeah,
Bani yang
I feel
fokus
like we're
aja.
actually not going to be seeing the same PRX that we did in 2023. I'm actually prepared for maybe a PRX
Nah,
that's
mungkin
a bit
pure
slower,
IGL.
maybe not as
Whoa,
aggressive.
that's
I'm
Oh,
not
itu dia
saying
kenapa
that might be a
DRX
little
mencari
bit on my end. I'm not saying that it's
asisten
not
coach
exactly
kali
a
ya.
bad PRX.
Ya nggak
It
sih?
might be a new one. It might be
Aku pernah lihat di mana
actually
gitu.
a little
Kayak
bit more
RQ
control.
butuh
Yeah, I mean, I'm
yang
curious to see what
ngebantu
kind of conversations they're
Ewok
gonna be
apa
having, because
salah
if they're gonna be
baca
running
Twitter
Yoru
gue ya.
quite a bit with Forsaken, maybe
Udah
picking
lama
that up
banget
if
sih
not somebody
itunya.
else, then I could see the aggression continuing from this team. But ultimately, the Yoru, that
Kuat
sort
tuh
of
meja
involvement
kuat anjir yang ada.
down to the map.
Tangan lu
Also,
gebuk
the
ini,
question
tangan
of
lu
a
yang
lot of
sakit,
people
cok.
still
Ini
see
kayunya
PRX
kuat banget.
on a lot of these maps, and something is obviously much more known for his
Iya
jab.
kan?
We even saw him piling
Kayaknya
the
kewalahan
breach,
dah
there's a
Ewok buat
fracture in the
nyari
past, now
solusi.
Gecko on
Sebenarnya kayak
Sunset in the off-season, so
solusinya kemana
does
ini?
something flex a
Tim
bit more?
buat
Is he gonna
dimainin
go
kayak
to the
tempo
Forsaken
apa
School
gitu-gitu.
of Valor, where he's just picking up every Asian and firing his gun
Harusnya
for his
dapat nggak sih?
utility.
I mean, that's the thing is you
Tim
do have
franchise
that
mah
guy
nyari
right
asisten
there that
coach
can
gitu-gitu
teach you
mah.
everything you need to know about playing
Sure.
different agents.
Mungkin
Forsaken's
sebenarnya
got
ada,
so much
tapi
depth to
kayaknya
him. So
Ewok
if you're
lihat
going
nggak
to have
cocok
any kind
dah.
of mentor, he's about the
Ini ada
best
yang di
person in the
thread
world he
tapi
possibly
nggak.
could. And for PRX, building something into a bit of a Demon 1 where he can go overplay things like the Astra, play Breach, etc., would just further just embolden this team. So that's actually a really scary prospect. And if it's something that they have been working on
nggak tahu.
since the ABL concluded,
Nggak ditawar
then
mungkin
this
atau
could be very
Ucilnya
scary
udah
for every
menawarkan
single
diri
team
tapi
out
nggak
there. TRX trying to reclaim the throne.
oke sama
If something is able
ya
to
kemana-mana nggak tahu
a
juga
couple
sih
other
kalau.
roles at the same time, I don't know if it's gonna happen.
Basically, we're not sure what to expect at this point.
Kayak Februari
We
tanggal
could be
28
going up
ya.
against- yeah. We
Kita
don't
jadi
really
Reza
know.
Mati apa nambah
right?
agent
And
pool?
they've had
Ah,
during the off-season as
kalau
well,
yang
even
nanya
giving
tentang
their G's for
AE
Jing kinda
gimana-gimana
shows
nanti
that one
tunggu
last
aja di
time,
match ya.
on a couple of those games, and that was great to see. But again, therefore, I mean, Solo mentioned in the interview of like, well, we just don't have tape to study. Like, we don't know what they're going to come out with. We don't know what this core 5 looks like of PRX. And everyone's expecting, like you said, Mika, like, is it a
Yang
slower
ada tambahan
PRX?
di
Is it even
tatakan-
faster? Like, are
Ya,
they flexing everybody because they have Mind Freak trying the
Ada
solo
nggak
on
ada?
a
Dia
couple
polos
maps as well?
doang udah.
It's just a mystery.
I think it's one of the biggest mysteries that we're going to have here in Pacific, right? What kind of PRX are people
Dari
going
di
to
banget.
get today,
Ah,
especially
di banget
since
sih.
this is their debut for 2024 on the Pacific League stage, and I feel like everybody here is very
Sabar
excited.
tanding.
Also really excited to see what Gen G have up their sleeves right now, especially since
Itu
the
Indo
winner
nanti
of this
ada
series becomes
offline-nya
the
nggak bakal.
first team to qualify into
Buat
playoffs,
split
and are
1
that
kayaknya
much closer to
masih
Masters of
online.
Madrid,
Split
Lotus.
2
Yeah, I mean,
mungkin ya, tapi gue nggak tahu
obviously
juga sih.
Want that. It'd be stupid to say that there's any team out there that doesn't want that. But for PRX, coming off the back of narrowly missing out on a trophy,
Kira-kira
not being able to push it all the way to a game 5, getting that second place at the biggest
gue jadi
event
trust
you've
issue
ever
gitu, tau
held,
nggak lo?
that is
Setiap
going to leave
ini
that
ngobrol-ngobrolnya
$2 million
panjang,
in your
pembahasannya
pocket. No matter how
panjang.
much you reset, you don't
Cuma
think you have
takut
the
ada
path back,
running text
you
yang
still
berjalan
need to
aja.
bring there within yourself. So, I think for them,
Lagi
being
nggak
able
ada,
to
gue
come
masih
up here,
aman.
get straight
Kalau
over,
udah ada
qualify
running
for
text
Masters
tuh.
of Madrid, and then go on to try to win the trophy, that
Eh.
would be a great way to just kind of
Kalian
rectify the shortcomings
Ya,
of the
cuy.
past.
Yeah, and of course, also getting first place in kickoff gives you those early championship points as well. So that's one step closer
Very
towards
true.
champions. Then you go to Madrid. If you win that, you get more points as well. So you kind of have a
Pangap,
safety
jam
spot
1 main
to go
jadwalnya
all the way
kalau
to
di
champions now
taman.
in Seoul
Ang
for
ya.
2024, and that would be the absolute best start for PRX.
God, I'm
Uh-oh.
looking,
Why
I'm
mah,
looking
aman.
so much. I'm looking so forward to just all of the absolutely crazy Reddit posts, the Charlie Kelly meme of like, this is this is how Sentinels get the championship points, and this is how they're gonna make it over there if
We
they
should do
continue
that
going
to
down.
this board. We
There
should
you
do
go.
that to
Yeah,
this
we
board.
should
Iya kan?
Start writing all
Semua
over
orang
the
juga
place.
pasti mikir karena ini udah berjalan ke hari
this
hari
covered in,
ketiga
like,
nggak
our
mungkin
notes
ada
and everything.
permasalahan
There's, like, some
teknikal
kind of
lagi nggak
string
sih?
theory happening on here.
It's inevitable. I mean, every single team out there that's
Harusnya udah
massive, man,
di-fix.
they're going to be people who are trying to do the math and figuring out like this is where they can get this, and
Well, that's what
if they
keeps
do
it
that
interesting.
and this team loses, then blah 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 blah
Iya,
blah,
masih
and
dia, ya.
somehow it'll still come down to MIBR getting a knife to deny.
And yeah, and a coach playing it, and the coach brings some victory for another team. Yeah.
Well, before we get ahead of ourselves and start predicting the entire year, of course, we have PRX and a GENG, and it is so
Ben map
exciting
dulu nggak sih?
to welcome, you know, the champions from last year, Pacific champions from last year, over back to the Pacific League stage. And I feel like for GENG, this is going to be a tough kind of like, they drew the shortest straw, so to say. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
we're up against PRX this time around, right?
I mean, group of death, like Solo said, I think everyone would agree for this, whether it's RQ or GENG, it's a group of death no matter what. And the biggest thing is I don't know if GENG necessarily has as much of
Apa
a home
official
crowd
Indo
buff
Invitationnya
either,
cuma 2
because
tim?
PRX has gained a lot of fans in
Oh, yeah.
Korea over the years.
Kan nggak ada
especially after last year,
lagi
lifting that
organisasi di
trophy
Indo
over
kan selain
PRX,
2
and
itu.
then going and representing
Masih
Pacific all
bertahan.
the way to the grand finals of champions.
Karena
Even the
player
Korean
juga,
fans are like,
nggak tahu juga.
PRX is where it's at, right? They're the reps of Pacific. So
Kita
GENG
tuh
has a lot of work
udah
cut out.
mulai
No, they really do. But I mean, that makes me
dikit
very
banget
much consider something that I haven't
Iya
really
sih.
put that much thought into, because it just in your brain, it's like,
Organisasi
okay,
di
PRX,
Indo.
they're going to come back. They're probably going to be very strong. Make it
Sebenarnya ya,
do we see
kalau
the
kalian
back-to-back
mau
champions
tahu
in
nih
Pacific
player-player
itself, or is there going to be a
Indo
change
yang
up? You know, does somebody else
di
ascend to the
tim
throne? If it's not
India
PRX,
tuh,
who else is
itu
it
kalau
going to be?
disatuin jadiin
So,
tim
I
dan
think
ada
it's
organisasi bagus
neat to
sumpah.
think about all of the teams that we've seen so far. Who is going to be capable of being
Kita
able
kan
to lift
pindah
that
ke
one, 'cause
India ya karena
it's nowhere close
yang
to
ada
what we
supportnya
expected
di
coming
India.
into the season. You know, we've been on, we've been on Plat Chat, etc. People have been doing their own power rankings and stuff. We have been
Pas saya belum
so
buat di
far
Rasta
off
masih
the mark
invited.
Very wrong.
already within the first
Tuh.
2 days, and things, could
Iya
course
ya.
correct with a little bit
Pas
more
dulu
time. Maybe
ARF
things do
itu
settle into
masih
that
ada
pattern
tim-tim
we laid
lain
out.
kan.
But
Ada
for right now, it
BTR,
seems
masih
like
ada apa.
pretty much everybody was completely and utterly wrong about, I don't know what, from second all the way down to 11th.
Yeah, and the big thing is again, that's off the back of a lot of these new faces, right? Where we heard some hype about some of them, but the question always remained, but how do you
LB
perform
bisa
against the
tiba-tiba di
other
CN
T1
juga
teams
gara-gara
and
itu karena
players, right? How do you perform against other Pacific teams?
Ya
And
iya.
now, for someone like Karen, it's like, well, how do you perform
Gara-gara
against PRX out of all teams that you'd have to face
kayak
in your very first
zaman
week of
sekarang
debut
kalau lu mau
in the
bikin
VCT,
tim stack kan ya,
he has to prove himself,
karena
just like
ngelihat
Isu has, just like Karen has.
apa sih namanya,
Of course, they've played in, challengers
ngelihat
as
kondisi
well.
sekarang
Karen has
organisasi
something
nggak
that's
ada
been ready
yang
for
masuk
it,
lagi
pushed
untuk
through this
Valorant
as
ya,
well,
kecuali
alongside teammates, 'cause those are some veterans
sekarang
who
apa
played
ya,
against
masih ada.
the PRX boys quite a few
Ah,
times, and he has to be
Gua
able to
tahu
prove his
tuh
worth.
Hero Zero ya kan,
These new
nggak
faces,
ada.
they're like the special seasoning
Walaupun
over
nggak
here in
semua
Pacific,
game
right?
ada
They
ya.
have these teams that
Yang
they
yang
thought
gedenya
we knew, and then suddenly
kayak
you have
AE,
players come on board,
boom.
and Zeta is looking
Apa lagi?
incredible right
ARF.
now. We have, we
Udah.
have Talon who suddenly
LB
looks like
mikirnya,
he could be a contender for,
gua mau bikin tim
qualifying
mix-mix
into
juga.
playoffs, where we thought that, like, okay, Team Secret
Gak ada
is
organisasi buat apa gitu. Kita ada tawaran dari
It's kinda like, again, like you mentioned,
China ya
we
pasti
have
dia
to raise
ambil lah.
everything, and we're kind of like all
Apalagi
off
secara
the mark, but I
China
feel like it's really on the back
minimal-minimalnya
of those
pasti
games, those rookies
dari
that have
pendapatan
that X
atau
factor this time
ya
around.
lumayan.
That's so exciting, right? I think that's something
Dia
that
juga
Pacific
kayak
as
gitu
a
kan.
region has been starving for, quite frankly, because there just wasn't as much history in growing up new talent in a game like Valorant. But just in the last 2 years, we've
Oh
seen
bener nih
the
feeling
surge
lu Bang
coming
Gaco
up.
udah jam.
So I mean, this
Itu
is
belum
exciting
mulai.
that it's
Hah.
not just like one
Band
country,
mapnya
but
belum
across
ini.
different countries, whether it's academy players, whether
Kan
it's
yang di
challenger league
backstage
players,
itu.
whether it's unknown recruits like Karon, we're seeing
Map
teams
dulu,
scout
Bang.
out new talent and bring them up to the big stage.
Yeah, it's very much
Play nggak
flipping
sih?
the script as far as the expectations are concerned, because a lot of us, and I'd say most people in general, you'd think, okay, well, this team is just rebuilt, and there's so many rookies that haven't played at Tier 1, they're probably going to take some time to get together, for this team to come together, for the synergy to be built up, for them to
apa
really
sih?
find their footing and get used to being
Gua nggak tahu lah, gua nggak tahu
completely
apa yang dilakuin ke IO ini ya. Kalau ini masih kayak masih delay, technical issue, wah.
Well, we're about to get right into it, so let's welcome back our champions
Tuh,
on the
maksud-
Pacific League stage and GENG, their competitors.
Tuh. Cadel mana Bang Kaco? Gak tahu Cadel. SRF bakal gimana? Bakal kuat nggak? ARF playernya sama kayak ARF kan? Itu aja, maksudnya kayak begitu mereka sih.
솔직히 작년은 이제
근데
더 이상
perubahan
생각하기
player
싫은
kayaknya.
시즌이 아니었나 생각합니다.
誰と対峙しても新しいメンバーたちで新しい波を立てます。
Ya cuy. Yo, buy time kah ini?
Our team is stronger than last year, but we grew stronger as well.
Don't forget that we're the champion last year. We are in the different group.
우승해야죠. 들어오자마자 우승. 이런 낭만 아니겠습니까? 파이팅 해야죠. 부끄럽네요.
Video manja lagi.
We have a great team this year. I'm very excited. I think we don't really have a key player. I think everyone is a key player of the team.
Korea buat
esports, the chemistry has been at an all-time high. Kickoff will be the perfect start for us to prove ourselves and show our potential.
Before the kickoff, we had a long break. We are completely a different team now. We're gonna show you guys the new RRQ this year.
We are gonna show you guys the
We
new
can be a lot
RRQ.
more aggressive, not caring about what others say, and just play my own
What the
game.
fuck, ada Bani anjing di tim secret habis joget-joget tadi itu.
팀들이 이제 저희 팀을 이제 경계를 좀 안 하는 것 같은데 새롭게 맞는 방법을 좀 알려드려야.
퍼시픽 내에서는 피지컬이 압도적으로 좋은 것 같고 다들 기대하고 보셔도 될 것 같습니다.
持てるものを全てぶつけていくっていう気持ちでできてますね。
I'm super excited to showcase myself in the Pacific kickoff. I have no fear about Diablo after all.
自分のプレイスタイルはキャラクター
Panjang ya
コントロールが
videonya.
うまいなと思ってるので自分でもそこを試合でも見せれるように頑張ります。기다려.
손에 꼽을 정도로 재미있었다라고 생각이 들 정도로
Koko nggak ngomong
재밌게
Koko.
준비를 했었고 이번 시즌 T1은 자유로운 스타일을 가진 팀이 될 것 같아요.
Gila,
이제 경기
Koko, siapa yang
시작하면은
beceki,
누가 진짜
coy?
잘하는지 볼 수 있을 것 같아요.
Koko. Ya, ini anjay.
There is a
Mulai,
unique
mulai.
strength of our team. We don't care who we face and we don't care how hard it is. No matter what happens, we will always win. Everyone knows that we're the champion last year, but I think this time we will get even more stronger than before.
Gila. Buset. Ini Davai lawan Mako nih. Wah! Davai lawan Mako. Aaron lawan Foxy. Ah, tumbang Foxy itu dah. Di tim Aaron juga tumbang. Cahya menyikat takse kali ya. Menang deh, udah menang PRX. Sayangnya PRX sama DRX bisa. Pasti selalu gitu tuh PRX DRX tuh. Zaman-zaman tahun lalu ketemu mulu di grup. Playoff. Gimana?
Welcome to the Valorant Champions Tour Pacific Kickoff. After a wave of changes, stronger teams were waiting in the wings. Today, teams will face eliminations. But before that, it's time to meet our Pacific Kings in Seoul. It's time to showcase the might of W Gaming, PRX.
Man, W Gaming. Gua doang yang ngerasa kayak lebih meriah pas tahun lalu, sumpah. Ya nggak sih, kayak entry-nya satu-satu. Kayak penontonnya kayak lemes gitu, Jing. Tepuk tangannya harus ada yang mancing dulu, tau gak lu? Padahal di hostnya udah manggil PRX-nya udah sengaja PRX. Tuh, GENG kagak ada sorak-sorakan. Ringki anjir. Tekstur. Wah, emang iya. Gue udah nggak bisa ngomong apa-apa cuy kalau udah pembahasan kalimat-kalimat dari Bang Chicken ya. Ini di Korea. Pasifik itu visitnya pasti di Korea terus kayaknya. Tahun. PRX jagung ke. Satu, dua, tiga. W Gaming gitu kayak. Back. Nggak sih, main nggak sih? Nah, ini habisnya. Nah, ini loh. Parah sih player-playernya menurut gue ya. Alex disuruh 1 lawan 3 coy.
Well, now going into our map bans for PRX
ini mau digebukin,
versus
dikeroyok ah, Alex.
GENG. This is going to be so interesting because we have two teams
3
that
lawan
can
1
be
jir.
very flexible,
Kacau
right?
nih beliau.
PRX pretty much everybody's expecting something to be
Mana
flexing
player-playernya, coy?
already, and we have Meteor and Munchkin that are
Jersey
able to flex
PRX ya?
as well for the side of GENG. So as we were saying, we're
Solo
not
gini,
sure what
anjir.
agent composition we're going to get, but these maps
Disuruh
are going to be pretty
nge-clutch, ya?
determinant of that.
Yeah, well, we'll get maybe a better idea as far as what they're going to be piloting, especially if GENG has any
Icebox,
repeat maps to
benar.
come up. When they played against RQ, we saw Icebox split as well as
Cepet
Sunset.
banget sih, padahal belum ini
GENG
anjir.
going to be bringing up Breeze, so we
Fresh
will get a
pick
new
ini
look
nggak
on
sih?
the squad. Big question is, do they play Euro?
Bind.
But if they
Oh,
do,
Lotus
that
deh
is some
DP-nya.
tape that GENG actually has of how PRX plays that. And if it's not that, historically, PRX has struggled with Breeze a lot. So I actually like this pick from GENG, especially
Anjing,
with
udah
the
3 lawan
option
1
for
coy.
things like the Operator, the Outlaw,
3
on the
lawan
squad
1.
of GENG.
I mean, I'm wondering if GENG are going to be playing that Yoru as well. You know, do we get to
Habis
see that
dicolong-colong
coming
sama
through?
Alex.
Not something
Jadi
I
dia
believe
lagi
the Textures really played maybe a
Ngobrol dulu
handful
nih.
of times in his career, but none of them really spring to mind. But Lotus coming in for PRX, this just feels like maximum comfort. And overall, it is a map that there's an immense amount of take on
dia
for
bind.
them. So GENG could have,
Harusnya
and will have
Ascent.
done a lot of studying of that map.
Well, it looks like GENG have heard rumors of the Age of Yoru making a comeback, and they're like, "Oh, we remember PRX on Bind. Let's not do that, right?"
Yeah,
that one would be a little bit bold.
Yeah, I mean,
Sunset
definitely
map
banning
terakhir.
that out as well. And also, I think accepting that the old ways that some of these players and the coaching staff used to play Bind no longer works. A lot of them used to actually have a lot of pride on Bind, but things have changed since then in the game in several different ways. So that is going to leave Sunset, which again, some tape from PRX, though surely there could be a lot of changes as well.
Yeah, I mean, we saw them, versus Sentinels, and they did make that a pretty close one in the grand final. And like you mentioned before, had to run that back versus T1 as well. So there is a bit out there to study when it comes down to that newest map in the pool. But have they changed anything is the big question. But as we get ready to focus on Breeze, I mean, my eyes immediately just have to go to Forsaken to see what he's going to be playing.
Oh, it's
something playing Yoru as Forsaken's playing Harbor.
And meanwhile, we have Astra for
Sam-
Caron as well for
something
GENG.
yang main ini, coy.
And, I mean, I'm actually okay with this. I think if
buset,
you're gonna
ini
play
banyak
double
banget
controller, some
controllernya
options for that
anjir.
Astra as well,
Harbor,
especially
Omen,
because the Cypher really
Viper.
anchored down the site, but the single duelist
Baru
duo
out of
for
meta,
PRX, I mean, we've seen
And
again.
triple control.
Yes, and triple control as well,
Yeah.
right? And
Terus
Magnet,
Aaron yang main
Omen, so
sofa,
Magnet
anjing.
should be a lot more aggressive now. So he's going to be
Wah, ini
acting
gokil
as
sih, ini
kind of
seru
that
sih.
secondary duelist alongside the Yoru.
Ini baru,
Both were
coy.
able to actually enter in very different angles than you're used to.
It means that with this
Oh.
matchup right here, a single duelist
Ini
Breeze will finally
omennya
get a win. The
omennya
question
jadi
is which one
duelist
is it gonna
loh.
be? Is it going to be the
Sama
Jet or is it going to
Harbor.
be the Yoru here from the side of PRX?
Tapi
Because so
kayak
far we have only seen success
walaupun
from the double duelist
Breeze sebelumnya
Well, what
PRX
says duelist better
Aaron
than,
main
no
sofa juga ya.
Sentinel composition, right? That is definitely W
Aaron main
Gaming.
sofa
So let's get this first match
di-
started. PRX versus
di
GENG.
Breeze.
Over to Hey, I'm Quack and Hey.
Wah, ini seru ya. Langsung mulai cuy. Ini loh. Ayo kita
Hey, it's me indeed, and with
fokus ya, fokus ya.
Man, time to bring your face masks. It's gonna get a lot
Lupa like-nya,
smoky
guys.
here on Breeze. Triple
Ngopi dulu,
controller,
ngopi.
my man, on PRX.
Wah,
That
ini
is
nih.
super interesting.
Oh
I mean,
iya,
we've never
bet-betnya,
really
anjir.
seen this being
Sorry,
pulled
sorry,
out
sorry.
from this team before.
Lupa,
But apart
coy.
from that, also something
Bet-betan.
on the Euro I think is a little bit
Iya.
worth mentioning. But of course, we have seen how strong GENG was
Dia
yesterday.
lagi.
We can see and we can expect a lot
Gua
from
kasih
Texture.
kesempatan
Are
dah.
they going to do the same thing?
Absolutely. Now, looks like PRX is gonna be starting out to spread their wings a little bit all across the map. And this is, I think, the good thing about that triple controller comp is you do have so many options to blot a good chunk of a big map such as this Breeze.
Especially on the attack, right? Just having three, sets of smokes to cycle through. You can see that they already sent out a high tide across A. It creates a bit of pressure, but at the same time, still a bit of damage towards this B site. I think GENG gets a bit of information.
Yeah, haven't committed to toxic wall yet, so not really too much has been shown here by the hands of PRX. There it is.
There
with
we
1
go.
minute on the clock, there's still so many options that they can choose for, and I
Yeah,
think they're just
dude.
making sure that GENG has to just commit a lot of their stars for the
That
start of this.
Aaron main
Apart from that,
sofa
also
aja.
just with the
No
gate
need
crash
drone,
that,
guys.
something is using, they're going all
Hey,
over
Riff,
the
bro.
map, but here it comes.
Yeah, Tripwire on that A site. This is the Yoru though, so he can bypass it. Needs to break it. Munchkin has been given up
Let
already.
Monyet
Right in front
tele.
of them, two. On the contact, Monyet's
Whoa!
something finds another, and they already secured that A site in the blink of an eye. Rest of GENG
Boleh,
have to go
boleh.
on
Iya, kamu.
that rotate back to the A site, but look
Yo,
at how far
Dave
Tobias
kenapa jadi
pushed up on
monyet
Halls
sekarang,
here. He's
Jir?
the first Vanguard for the moment, holding, whiffing. He's gonna go down, but at least he gets that information for the rest of PRX.
Yeah, it was a good hit nonetheless, and they know that there are players coming from Bridge, coming from Halls, and that just confirms a lot of it.
Okay, dash in. Texture's very aggressive into this as well as uber confident, but of course, PRX just going to be playing that post plan. Something coming around the corner, repositions, has to help out his team. Right at the precipice of the smoke. Texture! In a second, he can. 5 bullets, dashes right in.
Whoa!
He picks up the 4K.
No way. First round already picks up the 4th. You see
Oh,
how he
hell.
has that trigger discipline. I mean, normally we talk about trigger discipline. You're, hiding, waiting for the opportune moment. He's
What
just
the
waiting to
hell,
extract as
texture,
the movement
coy.
slows down.
Texture
And that
mode
is
Genji.
unbelievable skill.
Gokil, Jir.
Punish from that one too. You'd think that smoke would actually help out PRX, but did absolutely nothing for them as Texture basically got a lot of these segmented 1v1 fights in the span of just a couple of seconds, ultimately turning the hand for GENG.
And now they've picked up the Bulldogs. You got an Outlaw on Texture. He's looking to pick up the Bladestorm early on.
Oh, he wants to go for this insta peek on A main. PRX, will they give him the satisfaction? It's getting closer. His teammates breaking and giving as much support as possible, and Monyet's down already.
I mean, that's the other thing, right? Because it's an Outlaw, it's just so powerful. Anything on an eco round, it just chews right through.
Ini kenapa Dave lagi ngontek-ngontek ke side B tapi dia bisa minum, coy. Ayolah, oi. Kamera yang bener.
Still, it's not going to stop PRX from starting to move their forces
jadi
all the
kamera
way here.
monyet.
Looks like they're just okay with that.
Udah ya,
Still
tutup
hasn't
ya.
gotten any contact with the Sheriff.
Nah,
He's
satu
bought
orang
the
lagi
past
dah,
2
satu orang
rounds.
lagi.
That's looking a little bit iffy. With the stars being committed here as well, and Texture actually pushing all the way up onto mid. This could be very bad for PRX as the spike drops.
Spike down mid.
Reloads, they know he's here. They don't really want to challenge him. It's way too risky. So they're running out of options. You can't go back into Elbow. You're pretty much stuck inside of B main. Texture, well, Tailwind's away, so maybe got a bit of breathing room, but 30 seconds left, Aserai.
Something's going to just try to make something happen, no pun intended.
30 seconds
Make some contacts here. Does have his great crash available. It wants to challenge out against
Masa S? Masa S, coy? Masa S?
Shield or half shield? It's just not gonna work.
Astaga.
That ace. 2 rounds in to the first map of this game.
Wow, that's just a big boost of confidence for Texture starting things off. I mean, yesterday he said he was hangry. Today, I don't know what he's on, but this is a whole new look. Bladestorm already available. I mean, the other thing is also just, PRX, they had Sheriffs. They're just trying to maybe go for some picks or the spike plant. Couldn't really find anything, and that's a little bit surprising.
There's so many players, I think, in this 2024 Pacific League that is on their revenge arc, right? Like Lenny not getting the chance to play for Team Secret, and Texture, as the Des was mentioning, not having
All in PRX, betul. Bang Boba. Masa iya Genji kan?
Any tricky business? Spots one, getting into the astral dimension. Goes out, flashes. He still challenges something. He's got to make something happen here, and he does get it. Followed by
beda nggak sih? Mekanik
versus 3, spike planted down.
Mekanik Yorunya.
You got the cascade up as well, so there's a lot more room for Forsaken trying to play around this,
Mending
pushing
Jason.
GENG back. They want to burn down the timer and they want to stay alive as long as possible.
Yeah, Munchkin's coming around the corner here.
Something jago
on
juga
doors, just waiting for him to drop down already. Forsaken's right here for the first contact.
Nobar bang bubacot.
He's gonna be alone by himself. 1 versus 1 though. Dubai, unknowing of where his opponent might be, not spotting Meteor, getting closer and closer. He might not even know about this. There it is. No more utilities for Meteor. So it's a straight up start of the defuse. Dubai playing will be winning the gamble on the
Yeah, you got the advantage on the spike. Might as well just hang back and play it loose and easy. And at the same time, I mean, you gotta love the utility that PRX uses. You can see that, yeah, 3 controllers, you got Mind Freak on the Sova. What? This might not be W Gaming, but no, it still very much is. The dimensional drift gives them so much space. Monyet is already there, kind of like what Will said on the desk, that secondary duelist, instantly trading back and forth for the entire team. And with that, spike down, it's tough for GENG to retake in such situations.
True, but they do love their first contact.
Apa nggak Jet ya? Ini kan udah dilatihanin pasti.
There's not really much utility that can really punish him.
Stunnya.
Gravity well activated, stuns as well.
Untung bisa ini ngedit sambil nonton, mantap.
Against GENG,
si Adel nih Bang Boba, katanya mau nobar.
Oh, still pushing through.
Wow!
Wow!
Gila cuy, GENG kenapa ya? Kayak auranya
I can't believe that he reacted
gokil
to
banget
that
sekarang
so
anjir.
quickly. I thought the cascade would at
Wah,
least
Aaron.
match PRX's intentions
So
for
far
just a second, but he
rasa
reacts just
Viper
as
kah?
quick.
Karon's just so fast at being able to just get these punishes. Mind Freak's given away.
Ada teriakan nice.
Not gonna miss the beat.
Teriakan nice.
To get this
Spoiler anjir.
for the longest time, but
Proud.
the smokes, man, the peek outs and the flashes just.
Tadi aja
even though they
giliran
have the triple
pemanggilan
control, it
nama
doesn't seem
tim,
like it's,
ada yang teriak.
it's giving them any leeway.
Yeah, not yet. That's the thing. I mean, the smokes are still just smokes, and without the flashes, dude,
Tangi.
Karon was just popping off in that round. Round 5, this guy has 6
Adel
kills
mas
already as a controller.
I bet Will
kasih
is
tahu
so
nggak
full
sih?
with the mouth. Yes, 3-1.
Masa
Yes, this is what I
diberdiri-berdiriin
was
gitu coy?
thinking, hoping about, predicting.
Temen tuan rumah.
PRX still wanting to get that quick contact.
Ya Cahya better TP-nya jangan di situ dah, naik ke atas langsung nggak sih?
Because if he does keep getting that dimensional drift of his, it does give them a lot more access into the back of the site, but of course they still have to deal with this close contact that Lakia is setting up on A.
Yeah, the positioning that GENG has, that classic 2-on-2 split. Oh, actually it's a 1-1-3 split. 3 stacked up, and it's just a little bit tougher for PRX to break through. You got the stars as well, and those are really annoying. So maybe trying to bait around it, trying to bait Karon into a peak. But then you also got to worry about texture in this op.
Yeah, this is the problem about having a flash initiator. You just can't really flush out these set angles that they just break that. PRX break that themselves anyways. Hold on. There's going to be 2 on the side itself. It's Karon and Texture on that contact. Forsaken pushes out, but Texture, he doesn't respect this wall. He just goes and swims through with the high tide, giving him a high time. And now it's only Mind Freak and Dubai to remain. The pitch coming in from double door doesn't secure anything, so that has to be Dubai just putting up the toxic screen, hoping that Mind Freak could deal with Texture. It's not going to happen. He only has the share of the hand. 3 versus 1, 20 seconds. He's got to have to start pushing in, but because of how much out the open he is, he's going to be exposed to Meteor, and that's going to be the 4-1 for GENG.
GENG are feeling fired up, having won those rounds against
panas nggak sih
PRX.
coy?
They're like, yo, you guys
Masa
think you're the
iya?
Kings of Pacific. Wait till you see what we've got. I mean, this GENG Texture on the off, Karon popping off with kills. They are able to play these anti-flash positions on the A site, no matter what PRX throws at them. The idea of going in for an execute like that off of, something on the Yoru, you've got Monyet on the Paranoia with the Omen, it's just not quite landing as it needs to.
I usually talk about win conditions.
Oh, time out ya, aman ya guys. Tuh,
To,
Coach Alex sudah ngomong.
Use in these situations to
Kalau kalian mau ke A,
udah
nggak usah banyak ini, kesini langsung ajar backsetnya. Kalau kita stuck masih di main susah. Mereka retaknya bagus itu namanya. Lagi tinggi tuh meja ya.
The scouting power of that dimensional drift. So what's going to be the adjustment here for PRX? What happens when they don't have those tools available for them? But again, like you're mentioning, they're only really relying on the triple smoke to kind of blot out certain positions. That's not really making Texture afraid of holding the spots, and just, using that tailwind to get out of harm's way.
Yeah, precisely, right? I mean, that's the other thing. It's just having those 3 smokes, 3 controllers. Surely it can be used to, just block off vision and maybe, block off certain areas. Make sure the texture can't really, dominate the map in his current fashion. So whatever it is, that's kind of what the desk was talking about. Alex loves to call these timeouts. He knows when to pause the breaks. And right now, we shall see what kind of effect it has.
Well, Reckoning and Dimensional Drift is available.
Wik baru saja mengirimkan dukungan 10.000. Jimani Bang, PRX-nya dibantai-bantai sedih aku.
Thank you Wik. Sabar ya. Baru 4-1. Wih, bunuh dong meteornya. Nice.
Something quickly deals with him, but Caron finds Forsaken
ada ya, Bu.
through the off-cam kill. Oh, big flash from Lakia. Oh, they don't even expect it.
Lagi.
He gate crashed backwards. I feel like Lakia might have heard it. So now
kenapa jadi 2 lawan 3, coy?
Still up towards mid.
Aaron solo lagi di side.
It's a 2-on-3 nonetheless.
Sabar, chill.
Yeah, Mindfreak is just by himself right now. I mean, there's even a smoke coming into double doors. They have really segmented the 2
nice, Davai, chill.
But the Vi, he's hoping to be the
Ay, nice Aaron, nggak apa-apa 1-1. The spy, wah, itu loh. Texture.
Making use of Mindfreak's position, keeping Divide.
Ada hantu Kelantan.
Pick them off apart, getting information as to where
Jadi
Texture
player
was
of the year Malaysia, Joy, tenang aja.
They knew how to find those shots. And that's, again, something that PRX can always do. But I think the crucial thing in that round was how
menangnya gembel mulu, coy, anjing lah.
How he pushed up all the way towards Orange, towards Bridge side. And from that point, he was able to find that back flank on towards Meteor. So that broke apart that A line of defense for GENG.
That, and if I can add, they spotted Texture on mid, so the threat of the operator is way far if they actually just start, hunkering their way onto the A side, which ultimately, as you mentioned, with what you said, works in the favor of PRX on that push.
That said, though, we still need a few more rounds. Both sides have ultimates, and Meteor has been such a menace. Now he swapped up over back to B side. PRX is trying to approach here.
He's already preparing himself.
Ya Allah, di terus smoke. Cahya udah mau TP loh itu, anjir. Kena terus smoke, busuk banget. Mampus kau anjing. Makan tuh trap kagak ada tuh di kiri ya. Banyakin tuh taruh trap di backside.
As well, this backside, back walls, you are able to sneak up on front like that. So now that the spike has gone down, GENG are sensing that they don't quite have the timing on this retake. Davai.
Yeah, he's going to be the first contact on this 3 waterfall down mid. He's already been spotted. Oh, Forsaken's not hitting any shots. Finally does, able to do so. The page works out, leaving Texture by himself. But man, he's got some options here. Time might not be one of them though, so he might have to save up. And Mindfreak through the smoke, or through the top screen, blasts away something. Want to pick it up? Want to use it for attack? He will not. I was talking about the operator.
Yeah, maybe no ops for now, but you can definitely feel the impact of Alex's timeouts already, right? Just called from the previous round, now they've won 2 in a row. And you can see the clear idea and game plan, how they make use of these smokes, how they use something to really creep in, cut out space, and really block off and cause a lot of chaos for GENG's defenses. So,
timeout ya.
Counter timeout being called
Jangan
now
sampai
by
running
GENG.
text loh yang keluar.
Yeah, they just, again, they're starting to lose grip. From a 4-1, it already turns into a 4-3 very quickly to turn around for PRX. Again, makes GENG quake in their boots. And this is where I think it makes a lot of sense to, again, just take a step back first, because they were putting a lot of emphasis on using Texture as that big contact, but when he really can't find a contact, it feels like there's not a lot of options here for GENG
Kenapa pada dukung running text keluar anjir?
Do something else on that defense. Sure, you get the offhand kill from time to time as they start to
rumah
creep
cuy,
up
banyak
onto certain
pendukungnya cuy,
positions,
tuan rumah.
but PRX, I feel with the composition that they've had, they're so flexible at just getting those kills, even when it's a 4 versus 5 as they push up into a site. Even if it can be like a 3 versus 5, because of how many smokes they can keep utilizing to block the sight lines of the players of GENG.
Yeah, that's right. And not just that too, right?
Yang
I mean,
Indo
apart from blocking off
doang, Bang.
sidelines,
Yang
I
Indo
love
ada
how they're using this third controller,
monyet
Davai as
dari
the
Bali.
Viper, as more of a sentinel,
Karena
as more
orang
of a
bule
lurker
taunya
of
Bali
all
itu
things.
bukan
Because
Indo.
as soon as he deploys his toxic screen, he's like, I'm good. I can hang back towards mid, can get further information, try to cut off rotations as GENG tries to retake. And that is something that we've seen him do a couple of rounds now. He is that top fragger for PRX.
And additionally, I mean, if anybody pushes through that, you know, vulnerability as well as the decay makes challenges or fights for him quite easy. Anyways, PRX now looking to go for that B site.
Taktik apa nih Cahya nih?
They do have the shock darts, so they are breaking as much utility as they can.
TP Cahya,
and of
TP.
course, yep. I love this. When you use the decoy, it activates the trip, so at least you'll know where not to push.
Busuk banget
Meteor's
anjing,
doing his damage to just, again, dodge everything, but it's not working. It's a lot of kills already in position here for the favor of PRX.
Bayangin tuh mau ngapain lu?
Texture does make a bit of wave at the back of things, but it's not going to work out.
Bayangin no, berapa banyak util no? Ada clone, ada flash.
After all, but what a bit of an execute. PRX.
Ada slow, ada bubble.
You got the smokes, and they knew exactly how to work against Meteor's setup, and that's the main thing.
Udah di backside pun kena.
Wik baru saja mengirimkan dukungan 10.000. Lemes amat bang, teriak-teriak dong bang, biar semangat.
Sabar ya, lagi mengumpulkan tenaga. Kata gue tuh lagi perih Wik, thank you ya Wik.
There definitely is some changes in terms of that defensive setup.
Texture is still committing on this operator of his. Something one away from the dimensional. Imagine just like as Texture. Like, seeing that out of the open, right?
Aduh, Davai jangan kena ya, Davai.
He's already committed to tailwind, so might as well overpush just in case he can get that, again, that one-off kill, if ever. Seems like because they spotted, again, Texture on B,
ulti, something.
They're just going to bring the whole enchilada on that B side.
Dekat.
Yeah, why not? We know we can avoid that off. We can just go straight for Meteor. We can go straight for Munchkin. Take out those two, and then we have the site. Seekers were deployed by Lakia, though, and he's already here to reinforce. Something's trying to get that through.
Yeah. 2 on the interior
giliran nembak gitu aja.
Monyet trying to find somebody inside the smokes, and it is so confusing to be in all of that positioning. Somehow, it is GENG getting on top of things. Monyet, no ultimate for him, so he's stuck here until Davai comes in, so he is waiting for his teammate to give him that assistance. 40 seconds on the clock, and this is a pretty smart move.
Gila, ada wall lagi loh.
Have that toxic screen to block away that control at the back of the site, where you already see Caron getting closer.
Karon udah lewat
as well as Texture coming in from B main.
Yes, untung ada ulti Viper.
Watch all exits, all entrances of this Viper's pit. Texture could be the linchpin for GENG.
As a shot denied, Shorty's good. And look at
Aduh, yang teriak kagak ada suara dari main PRX anjir.
Off of the play, the Texture is giving the opportunity to retake the site and secure the round once again for GENG.
Cahya lagi gopur kah barusan? Tapi agent pool PRX ada taktiknya jadi bagus. Cara masuknya udah latihan mereka.
And they are definitely bringing the challenge.
Gila anjing tekstur tuh. 16 kill coy.
Not having any form of extra information there for
PRX.
They were
ke bawah kayaknya
going blind into calls that they wanted to do. They even saved the operator here for Texture, so he's got a chance again to find something. Not the player, but you know, the opportunity to get. I'm gonna have to find another way other than something to do this. Anyways, Paranoia is activated.
Gila dia nggak kabur dong.
He's looking for a TP.
Ya, lakinya dapat. Mampus.
Fortunately, Texture's not gonna find the PRX Yoru. That's gonna be a secure plant on the spike.
Oh, plannya kebuka
Everyone
gitu.
else here for GENG.
Ini ditambah lagi nih.
All the way through A main that is being handled by Mindfreak.
Terdelet.
Still somehow Caron getting a tap onto something.
Terdelet coy.
That brings things back to a 3-on-3. Of course, Mindfreak wanting to play off the 100, but he knows that there's a potential play coming through.
Another one.
Kasih tahu Ron.
Wik baru saja mengirimkan dukungan 10.000. Kita pukulin aja ya Bang Texture biar benjol.
Boleh Bang Wik. Sikat Bang Wik. Jangan gua tapi jauh. Masa gua harus ke Korea dulu?
Right, because that's how PRX executes. I mean, Grandpappy Achilles will be smiling
boleh
about that
memakai
one. He's
kekerasan
like,
ya.
yeah, I remember remember there's Paper X back
Biar
in the
benjol
day.
kah?
This is what they used to do. They orchestrate chaos. And that's exactly
Lah,
what
ini
they
ratio
do.
berapa
Got
ya, Dava
something,
ya?
gate crashing in. He's got the fake outs, and it's so confusing for Gen G as
banget,
they try to defend.
kayak
You're
lebar
watching for
banget gitu
so
nggak
many
sih?
pieces of utility. Not
Katanya.
to mention Monyet, who kind of comes in with a shorty inside the smokes, and that's what he was known for back on Global Esports last year.
Having Lakia choosing whether he has to go for the gunfight
Nggak
or
tahu,
flash
something.
for
Lagi nggak mau pakai skin
texture
kayaknya.
here makes it even
Gabi kameranya ngeliatin mid.
difficult. He backs away. Look at how close
4
something has
mid,
already got
kamera
on the top
ketahuan.
mid. TP's out.
Oh,
Just to break the
nice,
tripwire,
nice,
but at what
nice.
cost Forsaken? He's already
Itu
taken
perkara
down.
ada
Oh my
bubble
goodness.
sih, jadi dia nggak
This man
mati
is
coy.
walking on thin ice.
It got a little bit risky
Gila,
because Gen G
kalau nggak ada
are trying to get
bubble
a good
udah
read for
pasti
the
boys
game right
right.
now. They've got these 4 players stacked up on B, so able to
Dengeran nggak
shoot
sih?
through. And with the space now, Lakia pushed up halls, but
Lakia.
not quite able to capitalize.
Ada Dava ya, ada hantu kelanta nih bos.
PRX players all around the map sprinkled just to get those lurk kills, and it is actually working for them, especially that Gen G is on this weaker buy.
Katarun kemana
Feels like
nih
Gen
kita?
G is just pressured
Just
to
go lah
try
kata
to
dia.
get control elsewhere.
Just go.
PRX,
Kayaknya TP nih.
it's a lure into their trap, man. They're just saying, sure, thank you very much. Texture though, this is the perfect chance for him to get
busuk,
some
Aaron juga lagi
kind of
yang dicari.
information, some kind of impact.
You wanted to say something, didn't you?
I stopped myself mid-sentence already, all right? You didn't have to point it out.
I feel yes, right? I mean, it's just the name.
I can already feel the chat, you know? How is this caster like this? No vocabulary? Use a thesaurus. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, it's not easy. Think you
Sorry.
could do our jobs?
All right, Karon's alone.
Ayolah Karon, kita
he's
masih
gonna
mau
probably
bomnya.
just wait till this event horizon engulfs him. Oh, wow. He even finds Monyet.
Oh my
fuck,
god.
mati anjing.
That would be great
Kayak-
if he could get even more or pick up a rifle at the very least. Look at how he's so careful jumping it out, but up against Forsaken, of
RFC
course.
sih kalau
It's
one
gonna
tap
be the
sih
tap that
enak
finishes
banget
him off.
anjing
I mean,
sebenarnya.
in this round, again, it's just kind of what we saw in the first, right? You know, PRX, they can play around the entire map thanks to the utility of something Zioru. I mean, gate crashing back and forth. They can rotate so easily. Sometimes Gen G has to catch up to it.
Good as quick catch from something in the rest of the team. As I mentioned, just playing the opposition lurks, playing with Gen G. And
Playing with
one
Gen
round.
G.
It is pretty close though. Gen G's able to get this 5-6. Could even be a 6-6 if they play their cards right. But with the Reckoning and Dimensional Drift activated, it could be very
Agent
difficult.
PRX
But
enak buat
Texture's already pushed
kontrol-kontrol.
them all the way through elbow. They're not
Ya,
gonna
oh
win.
tetap
Thankfully
bunuh
enough, he
dong
has
dia.
Lakia right beside him to help him out. PRX are dwindling in
Ooh.
numbers. Spike finds something with the Odin. And he brings it right back. 3 versus 3. Plenty of
Anjir,
walls.
saya ada
Can they
nggak
calm
dapet
themselves
lagi
down?
nggak ada
Find the
wall.
spike even. Not going to happen just yet. Monyet has control the back of the site here.
Aduh, Aaron mati nih bawahnya dari bokong.
Flanks coming in from Munchkin. So the time for Monyet to make something
Dicium
happen
nih dari
is
belakang.
very minuscule here. 2
Banyakin
versus
tuh.
1. Caron now back
Nembak-nembak
away
pakai
to double up with his teammate. And this is the
fogging.
perfect time for them to try working their magic against the one. What is this TP? Did he try to pick up a spike? No, he's just trying to reposition for the fight.
Aduh.
Very aggressive from Monyet, but it's not going to work out.
Rekan player mulu anjing kenceng
Nice
banget dah.
try, nice try. But
Rekannya
Munchkin just
terlalu
turns around and says, dude, you
high
thought,
banget kayaknya tuh Genji.
you could pull off that flank. How many flanks did we see
Beneran,
in that
coy.
round? I mean, first of all, we had, Mind Freak holding the angle with the Odin from window, but then afterwards, Munchkin coming back again
Kalau
from the
ada
same
orb
spot
aja
that
tuh
Texture
si
and Lakia approached from. I
Cahya
mean, it's
satu
just
lagi.
so confusing that PRX, their whole game plan kind of gets thrown off. You can see that what they wanted to do throughout this entire map, which
Harusnya
truly was
Cahya
just
lari ke A,
going
nggak sih,
for
ambil orb.
executes off of Monyet and something, or create a bit of noise, bait out that utility, and then rotate over thanks to their gate crash. Leave the Vi on that lurk. It doesn't always work out. If Gen G just goes in for, a bit of a flank, a bit of a
PRX
retake,
fighting,
and that's the thing that
PRX.
you don't really have without like a proper-ish sentinel. Yes, Devi, you got Viper, that's great, but no traps, no info.
And again, it takes them a lot of time to just fiddle with their abilities, right? To throw it into a site. You already see how quickly, and you were mentioning this, again, Texture is just that confident, that much of a risk taker that he is willing to see the limits
PRX,
or see the chinks in the armor of the PRX setup. But now as we are flipping the sides here, the question comes into play. What is PRX going to do on that defending side? Are they going to do something similar to what Talon was doing when they didn't have the Sentinel, where they were just charging out because they can't really anchor the site, or as
Iya,
you were talking
3
about,
controller
are they
ini.
gonna fall back with Devi, who's
Delay-delaynya
actually
parah
doing
ini.
a heck of a good
Kayak-
job on that Viper of his.
That's the
Tapi
craziest
nggak
thing.
delay
I mean,
damage
it's the
juga
W
sih.
Gaming squad. We expect them to push out. Now
Controllernya.
they've got 3 controllers, and Devi's the one doing all the fragging. So very curious to see how this will play out. I mean,
Kapan
you
masuk
don't
turnamen
want to
gitu,
die too
doain
early
aja ya.
on as a Viper either, right? Because then you can't really use your abilities. So PRX has to be a little bit careful, a little bit mindful about how they want to push out
Aman,
if
Bendor.
that is their game plan.
Speaking of pushing out, there's like 3 players of PRX
Ya
about
kontrol
to
A.
have the welcome party outside A main.
Ini mau split A ya.
Smoke quickly placed there as well
Wik baru
as
saja
the
mengirimkan dukungan
Cascade.
10.000.
Shock darts
Masih
from
bisa gak nih Bang PRX? Kesel nih GW di ayam-ayamin gini Bang.
Aman Bang Wik. Ini menang, udah pasti menang. Lu lihat tuh, tekstur nembak udah nggak kena. Tuh lihat. Main freak aja. Ah. Beliau sekarang bunuh loh, giliran full HP nggak bunuh loh binatang. Aman ya Bang Wik.
Devi's already coming in for the flank here, and Texture, he's very much unaware of it.
He is
Sorry,
holding a
sorry,
bit of an
sorry.
off angle though, so
Sengaja,
Devi
sengaja.
can't really just
Sengaja.
waltz right through that door.
On mid though, that's going to be
ada
Monyet
monyet.
himself. Does have the paranoia. I'm not sure if he actually spotted the other one. Texture. Oh, that door closes. The opportunity for Devi is not even possible. Dude had the so close
He
yet
opened
so
the door
far
again.
away
He
situation.
opened the door again.
Okay, so his positioning's already given. He's pushing out, jumping through the smoke smartly to try to get a coax out of everybody. And this is the thing. Every single opponent of Devi right now is low. So his Sheriff has a lot of lethality on it.
Dan
Just one shot
aman.
to the body. But
Ini
look at the position.
nyariin
So
teksturnya
unaware.
ini.
And
Di
you can
Devi.
see that with how he's moving up here, that he wants to get close against Charon, but he's so afraid of
Wah
where
ini ke
Texture
buy
actually
time
might
banget
be,
sih, gara nyariin
even thinking
si
it could be mid.
I mean, he's got a bit of time, but
Leo
Texture's the
ini.
main one to look out for
Itu
right
kepala
now.
kelihatan.
Did they just barely miss each other? Look at Devi.
Kelihatan nggak sih?
I think he heard the drop down too.
Oh.
Just about to just peek out. The Devi, can he be?
Wow!
For the round
Lu
win.
boleh kill 3. Runnya menang untuk PRX.
As can be.
Kayaknya ada yang ngomong deh, kayaknya si Davai nggak sadar dah. Itu kelihatan palanya tapi ada yang ngomong. Itu
And
hole
he
hole.
just clutches it out for the team.
kayaknya
I
ya.
mean, apart from being keeping his
Karena
composure,
kadang karena
just knowing,
playernya
okay,
fokus
I have a rough
crosshair,
idea of where Texture is. As long as I keep my sights
sadar.
right up around door, I should be okay. But the main thing is also
Oh,
knowing that
PRX
Karen's
tuh,
right
watch
around the corner.
party.
He is able to flick back and forth, now catching up to Texture in terms of kills.
He completely turned
Aman
around
ya, Bang
from the
Wik
game.
Wik.
It turned into an M.
Leading nih, PRX leading.
You know?
Yo, what, like what, Mario, Wario kind of...
Wah.
What am I?
But I mean, dude is...
Aduh, di
I used the term yesterday, I think. Zen.
Sabar, sabar.
Very zen with how he approaches these
Sabar.
fights. He's not impatient, like you mentioned. He has a lot of time to make
Perang nggak
use
sih?
of.
Perang nggak sih?
Anyways, big contact
nggak ada
coming
yang
in from this
mati
one.
dah.
Couple
Cahaya!
of marshals
What the
activated.
fuck?
What a risk from Monyet just to peek that out.
Wah, Cahaya
Forsaken
sih
though, dipping
bisa
his
TP
toes
di
as
situ
well
lagi.
into the swing
Itu
game
bisa
outside
mati
of
sama
A main.
Marshall anjir satu hit gara-gara
Monyet, I love
inful.
this. And he actually challenges, but Forsaken drops. This could be bad. If he
Cah,
rechallenges
ngeri
once
sih.
again, he's the only one holding the site for the moment.
Jujur
here.
aja ngeri sih
And
itu
he has
4
to
orang
back
yang
away,
mantek.
wait for the reinforcements as Mind Freak and Devi are
Ah,
slowly
ya gue pur
creeping up
manja
back
terus
onto
sih.
A.
Trades the Outlaw for a Bulldog too, just wants additional firepower. We've got a little bit of support from Mind Freak coming through halls just to check. But he's got to be so careful. I mean, GENG are bunched up together. It's a full squad of classics and marshals. He hears the jump.
Nice, Ron.
First shot.
He gets away too. So no trade here for Meteor. Throws out the recon dart for a bit of that safety. And he's home safe. Wait, no. Okay, now he's home safe.
GENG really just
Gerakan
wants to
go.
wait for more picks and maybe try to
30
soften up
seconds
defenses, try to sneak through. But at this point, only 30 seconds left. They have to hightail it to B.
Ya,
And as
kecolong
long as
dong.
Meteor can
Eh,
do
hole-nya
the
kenapa nggak
same thing
ditutup
like
ya?
he's doing right now, GENG might
Waduh,
have
udah
a better
sekarat
time
aja
in
tuh
this
Aaron.
round.
Oh my goodness, Mind Freak
Wah,
couldn't
sumpah,
really do
Marshall kalau
anything.
udah satu hit dan dia nggak
And the
langsung
rest of
headshot ya.
GENG gonna be walking
Susah,
up
Cok.
to
10
B.
seconds.
It's all up to something. He's got a
Ay, masa
Guardian.
ya.
The aim god.
Ayo, ayo, bisa
Okay,
ya.
good on the first.
Ah!
Gets the second one instantaneously,
Ah,
but he's
pelurunya
dropping
habis.
in HP,
Wah,
in bullets
di
and
delay.
everything. And it's
Maunya
down
di
one
delay sama
goal to
Meteor anjing.
Monyet.
Ah,
Oh,
kecicil
that
lagi,
was
Cok.
how
Najis.
just low both of
Wah,
these
Cahaya
players
kesel
are.
sih. Sumpah
Even Meteor
dicicil
drops
Marcel sih
down.
najis coy.
You can already see Caron
Ini tinggal mantek doang nih Caron.
patiently at the back
Gak
of the site.
teriakan.
Even finds Monya trying to reposition, and GENG somehow makes the thrifty round work.
I'll tell you somehow it was Meteor. All it took was a Marshall, and this guy's still as lethal as he was last year. Maybe not on the Jet anymore, but as soon as he pushes up halls, look at these picks that he's getting. It might not always be headshots, but just because he plays around the space that way, plays around the obstacles,
Oh,
he keeps himself tucked
apa
away,
kata
and he's
gua
always able to
ha?
chip away at PRX bit by
Kasih
bit.
aja gua
And
Marcel.
that's, you know, something had some nice Guardian kills that was really flashy, really fun to watch, but it's not clean enough for an
Masa
anti-hero
iya?
that PRX was meant to win.
Absolutely. I mean, it just also felt like PRX was agreeing to the aim duel.
Kira kemarin
and
ada
GENG
Kicu
was
ternyata memang
coaxing out of that.
GG-nya
There was
terlalu jago.
exactly
Yoi,
lesser risk
GG-nya
for
oke
GENG to
sih.
do that because it was they were just on Marshalls, man. They weren't even committing to
Oh!
purchase this. And Forsaken, what was that?
Tekstur mati sama klasik ya, Ge.
The defense, the line of sight, doesn't even have to trigger the trap here, and does get a 1-to-1 trade. I mean, I don't know how impactful that is going to be,
Ini per
but
second chat.
still go to show how both teams
Second.
very much willing to take those
Second
off-angle
jago nih.
risks to try to get something.
Both of them are in the fight very much so. 7-7 right now, and that's the main thing. You definitely can't
Kasih tahu deh,
underestimate
Pak.
PRX too much, and I think that's why GENG are taking things
Ini mainnya lama
really
banget
slow
sih.
right now. You know, maybe trying
Slow
to
parah,
suss out
anjir.
information, but we don't have that much in terms of gathering, right? You got to think about Lakia's guiding light usage.
Aran
So maybe
dicek sih
just
kayaknya. Iya sih.
executing onto A right now, and it depends on how well
Eh,
PRX
frame drop
can hold
gimana
their
nih?
ground.
Ayo, ayo,
Force
please.
smoke from Monya.
Wah, timingnya.
Mindfreak's gonna be
Sumpah,
gifted himself
timingnya
a
bagus
bulldog,
banget.
and no one's there to trade it for GENG.
Itu kalau masih nahan,
So they get
dicek
themselves
itu.
some control, but Caron and Munchkin making
Udah
quick
bisa rata
work of
gitu,
that A
anjing.
site. GENG find themselves the advantage.
Tipu coy.
1 point in the lead. It was against pistols, but you gotta admire how
Ituan
they
kia,
went in
anjay.
silently. Made sure that they were, going to pre-fire some of
Like-nya
these
nggak sih,
corners.
Manis?
They checked some of it.
Manis, like-nya nggak sih,
Although
Manis?
Meteor did die, it was a bit of information that they could use to go up against
Ah, nggak apa-apa, nggak
Mind
apa-apa,
Freak
Ki.
up
Tadi
around
tuh
halls. And relatively clean round
Mana
for
aja,
GENG,
mana.
and that's what you would have wanted for PRX in the previous. So, on to
Masih
the next.
87,
Now,
masih
Texture's
bisa
got enough
menang.
for the Blade Storm. Doesn't need to
Tapi
buy up.
13-7 baru udah.
GENG's economy starting to flow, Asarai.
Absolutely.
Oh, dia
They even
kontrol
have
A tuh,
themselves
monyet tuh, lihat
Caron's
nah.
Cosmic
Aduh, di
Divide.
mid ke A kah?
Oh,
Mid-nya
Monya
hati. Oh,
finding
ada.
Meteor through the push on A main. This is what they want. They
Ah,
want to
mampus
stop
lu banyakin
these
tuh,
multiple
anjir.
angles of attack. Go for a little bit of coverage
Lawan
and the
tuh,
flashes is so good.
Tuh lihat
That
PRX
GENG
ya,
just have
kalau
to rub their
udah
eyes and wait for the blindness to
bersatu kita teguh bercerai
dissipate.
kita kalah
As
tuh,
it
lihat.
does,
Habis
Munchkin by
semuanya
himself,
coy.
Forsaken devours, and that's going to be a flawless round for PRX.
Kroco aja susah.
Wow, I mean, that's another one of those
Hey,
things
Ge.
again, because when you think about
GENG nggak
PRX,
kroco,
every
kocak.
single one of these guys have
GENG
the potential
lumayan.
to frag out. And Monyet is
Apalagi ada tekstur
single-handedly
ini.
picking duels outside of, A main. He's got support from the team. You've got Forsaken watching mid. And it's just that much more difficult for GENG to really pull off some of these split pushes that they want to go for. So they have to really rethink the strategies. If this carries on, I could foresee a timeout being called by Solo.
Both teams have actually used their first timeouts as well in that
That's
first
right.
half, but
Ikutan deh,
it feels like they
Pak.
have better grasp of what is happening right
Mungkin
now.
PRX sengaja
Again, it just goes to show how even it is, that 8-8. Look at how close something is on this mid control. How risky it is
Tapi
too.
enggak lah,
A
maksudnya
stray
Amin.
pop shot. That
Jadi,
smoke going. And there's the pop shot. He's actually getting tagged. He might want to get away right now.
Movement, though.
But he
Boleh
did give
juga
away
nih
his teleport
posisinya.
on. He does have the dimensional drift, so he can get away from
Taruh
this
nggak sih,
without
Vita?
having to use
Itulah
that
maksud
gate
gue.
crash. Or because
Oh,
he's in
ini
such
sih
an off
angle
angle and
nggak
he's that
kecek
Yoru,
sih.
he can just do whatever he wants.
Yeah, he's gonna get crashed out
Lucu
now.
banget anjing angle di
Definitely
situ.
doing what he wants. I mean, just getting enough information, or maybe pulling the attention away from GENG as
Itu
they
lucu banget sih
start
angle-nya.
to go back towards mid.
Kata tekstur
Now
si
the high
anjing di
tide
situ kata dia.
invested. A little bit awkward though with the curve. So Texture has actually made it onto the other side.
Aduh.
He's still doing this.
No.
Yikes.
Anjir.
mean,
Gila sih,
you know,
Genji
shame on
sabar
me.
banget, Cok.
And then shame on him if he does that again.
Ah.
The ball's dropping down.
Whoa!
Forsaken!
Gelo!
How he used his teammate as the
Iya
great
gelo
big
sih,
mate.
coy.
They thought they wouldn't double up, but he
Bisa
did.
dapat gak?
He does get
Jason
some
di sono.
value. 30 seconds left, and GENG lose all control of that mid push, but they wait to use that neural tap for that information.
Asteroid, we are fishing out here, but it's big information. Now we know Davai is alone and cold on the B side. Maybe we could harpoon him, but he's got 13 seconds left.
Harusnya Cahya beneran TP tuh.
Wow. Again, boy's patient, man. He just has to wait for him to ping into his crosshair.
Lu lihat Davai tuh.
Single-handedly
Musuhnya datang ke dia.
Can he beat down Meteor? No. But because
Aaron nih, bos.
he's given away his position, Meteor is just having to hold so many angles. The shot guard! Mind Freak, what are you doing? Have you lost your mind? Are you a freak? Well, he could definitely be.
Are you a
misses
freak?
Meteor, but know exactly where he is. Down to 14. 3 bullets in a dream.
Aduh, ngeri banget ini.
Jangan
Jangan sampai masuk ke crosshair.
Comes up, man, swings.
Biar aja boy, Soek.
He knows he's low. All he's got to do is to go in for that burst. So very confident, cool enough. He might be the youngest player, but still has enough experience, and that's one of the things that people don't really know. Might have been a global esports last year, but he has been playing throughout Indonesian Valorant for quite a while, and he's always been this talented. And apart from that, also just Davai. We were talking about fishing a little bit. Remember, Mika and Victoria were telling us about this as well. Davai fishes in real life. He is patient, and he knows he turns that situation into a 2-on-1 for his team.
Yeah. He knows that sometimes all he has to do is, again, not do anything. That's already a lot, because the stress on GENG makes them try to peek out, makes them want to get as much information as they possibly can. He's already nursing himself an operator all above here on Halls, and I really like this because he gets so much information, so much value. His gate crash is about to expire, but shouldn't matter at the moment as GENG coming out of elbow.
Yeah, he can always just regroup with his team in other means. Main thing though is for Davai to stay alive right now.
Aduh, Davai kena flash.
Especially because of those flashes, but the punishes from the Reckoning as well as the Hunter's Fury.
Mampus kau. Dapatnya.
Jumping in and out
lagi.
with the shorty. Numbers still favoring GENG. All of them now on the site. What's the damage here? What's the capabilities? Monyet wreaking some havoc outside of Orange.
Let's go,
but he's alone. They haven't picked up the spike. He can reposition into this, and he's got everything. Shrouded Step, Paranoia. GENG realizes, wants to actually double up. They want to use the numbers in their favor. Monyet. Did he hit all of them? He did! He repositions! My god, Monyet!
He's down
to one bullet. He has to change. Either reload or change, which he does. And
No, Cahaya! Udah keren banget, anjir!
Oh boy! That was close for both.
I mean, just a bit of nerves on stage. Unfortunate that he ran out of ammo in his magazine right after.
Wah, itu kalau
it comes down to it, Munchkin actually lands the flick above Monyet. So
keren loh.
It's all of these like really thin margins, and it comes out on top. Sometimes numbers advantage will still prevail, and that's why it gets so dicey when you're going for these shorty kills. The Reckoning, the Hunter's Fury was awesome, but not the cleanest, fight back against it. You're starting to run low on rounds, right? It's 9-9.
Masa lawan GENG deg-degan gini?
And that's something that we often forget. It's like, it's not just a battle of the teams and players, it's also a battle of the coaches. And, Alex was talking about it, Solo back in the days, he looks up to him, and he's communicating with his team as well.
It feels like the plan for PRX for the past couple of rounds right now has just been to disrupt the entry into the site of GENG, right? And again, it's resulted in more of these riskier plays that might not pan out as much for PRX. Something like, again, something that plays with an operator, just gets close in with the shorty, can't really threaten, can't really reposition anymore, gets traded out, you were talking about this, and then that leaves them into these kind of clutch situations, which PRX, from the looks of things, don't really want to always put themselves on.
So you always got to be careful, but what is this? Outlaw Marshall by?
I mean...
Low buy kah?
I don't hate
There's
it.
like 3 players of GENG that have shield right now, so...
I don't hate it.
Yeah, and plus, FYI for people, if you only shoot 1 bullet at the Outlaw and reload it, it's faster than, the full reload, so...
I don't hate it, but I'm nervous, Astro. Oh, boy.
Ah!
Okay, that's going to be interesting. His back. Oh, that's not even in back in a way. That's a trade. by Meteor, punished by Meteor, straight into the Neural Theft, and Peekaboo, I see you, whole map exposed.
Just trying to get out of, get as much out of GENG as possible in this round, right? If any round is the round that we want to bait out those ultimates, bait out those pieces of utility, that's going to be this one.
Oh!
Monyet.
Boleh
Got the
Monyet.
Marshall in hand, shooting through the smoke,
Aduh, ada orang mid
Meteor comes
segala
in
dah.
for the pinch. And he will get
Ada
diced.
Harun lagi jongkok
Mindframe
berak.
a little bit too far away. That's gonna leave
Pojokan.
Ilya
Gelo.
by himself. I was about to say Divide, but then
Iya,
he's
es
by
beliau
himself
teh.
right now. Oh, he does not get the shot onto Meteor as well, and he's position exposed. Gets the heal.
Masa abangnya Tenten
This
es?
might actually have to be a save from him. As he just backs away. Wait. He has a gate crash all the way at the end of halls. Is he willing? No, probably not.
Yeah, I think it ran out. It's probably opting for the save instead at this point, but still, I mean, definitely trying to get an idea.
Yeah.
So scouting out, you know, what GENG's early game plan is, right? At least in the first 30 seconds. Sometimes, you know, they're up around elbow, up around mid. And this time you could definitely feel that A presence, and just not too sure how PRX can really disrupt that. You know, we were talking about it before. That's why you have Yoru, right? You always want to push up front. You always want to scout and then gate crash back.
Yeah.
But it's still, you know, sometimes just a little bit risky.
I guess the problem for that is because you only have technically the one duelist that we can reposition. I mean, you can maybe argue that Monyet can also do it as the Omen here. There's not really a lot of options for PRX to really get out of harm's way without getting punished, even with the smokes, right? So we're kind of seeing the other way of that, which is getting punished by GENG and ultimately giving rounds to GENG.
Ada ulti ayah.
Okay.
Bantuan hancurin.
Seeker's been activated. Forsaken's just charging right in. Divide? Does he even get spotted? No, he doesn't even have to look at his opponents. Cool guys, don't look at snake bite kills. It's not even an explosion, guys. It's a slow burn, a slow, painful poison burn. Cosmic Divide used on this A side itself. Cove making GENG just a tad bit afraid. As it drops, now they know. And they even have, yep, the Viper spin to make things a little bit easier as they transition, into this post plant.
That's it, an uphill battle for PRX, right? They might be able to surround this Viper's pit. There is a trip on the other side. Meteor can make use of it. And then you still got to watch out for those players up inside A main. How do you break this?
TP ke atas, mantap.
He's vertical, dude. He's got the high ground.
Vipernya belum mati, coy.
Using
Pas
that
molly.
to actually get the one up. Viper's hit. Use the snake bite to get a little bit of damage.
Aduh, majunya gitu.
And Munchkin through the smoke. Oh, this is
majunya
going
gitu,
horribly wrong
coy.
for PRX. Someone's gonna have to start defusing it. Someone's gonna have to hold him.
Wah, nggak ada waktu.
Everything as
Wah, majunya segaris gitu
and
anjir.
that's gonna be GENG with 2 rounds advantage, closing up to maybe the map point already in this game.
Just incredible. I mean, the combination
Soek
of,
dong
first of
kalau
all, the
gini.
Cosmic Divide
Eh,
gave
ada
them that
Kaniki
much more
nih.
space, that much more security, and then the Viper spin, and how Munchkin is playing off of it. This is what GENG can do off of a post plant, and it's just that much more difficult. PRX, although we had
Bang Re sabar ya. Bang Re sabar ya, kita sebagai penonton harus sabar ya.
trying to break through Meteor.
Sabar Bang Re.
It worked out for just
Masih
a second.
11
That's why
aman.
it's so
Belum
much
13
that
kok.
PRX has to work off, and now it's a 2-round differential. How do you climb up against that? And they have to make it happen if they are to start out strong in VCT Pacific kickoffs this year.
Well, thankfully enough, they do have money, creds, to have the weaponry to make something happen. I will honestly try to find a different word other than something.
Tapi mereka mainnya lama banget sih, Genji.
A
Lihat
different
dah.
word I can use so that you guys will not be
1-12
confused.
masih
Anyways,
kayak
the
nahan
man himself,
tempat
Ilya,
gitu.
is there on elbow,
Tuh
nursing himself the
anti-push.
operator once again. He is just holding that angle
Ini nyari
for the
info.
absolute longest time. He is hoping that someone is just gonna go into his spider's web, but unfortunately for the moment, GENG, they have their
54
eyes set
detik
up
belum
here on that
regroup
A
tuh,
side,
lihat.
and it could actually be good. Monyet's cold in for that
Ya Allah.
one-way smoke that actually drops in and
Diketawain
turns into a
Davai,
regular
lu lihat
smoke that
Davai
has
udah
a
senyum.
very big partial outside
Weh
of the
cahaya,
domain that could
one way.
actually be bad for
Babi
Divide.
tuh
We'll
namanya
have to see
one
how
way
that
ya.
works out, and he is trying to clear that with all intentions by
Davai udah
himself.
senyum aja loh.
bit of time.
Aduh Davai.
Oh, he
Ya
is so dead.
busuk
Oh,
coy.
this is not looking too good for PRX. Forsaken
Oh perang sini.
doing the same thing.
Nice.
Flashes, and he absorbs his opponent right
Ya
in front of
Allah,
him, gets full
buta
flash,
cok.
but the trades
Wah,
from PRX
Aaron pakai shockdart
are
bunuh
actually
dua, coy.
working. Shot through mid.
Wow.
Something gets it. He
Itulah.
even finds the lurking meteor. And all
Anjir,
this
dibanting
because of
sama.
these shock darts coming in from
Sabar.
Mind Freak. Lakia
Kok nggak jadi maju, Cah?
will plant the spike.
Ada flash nggak sih? Nggak ada
Oh
ya?
yeah, does
Aduh,
not chase
aduh.
for him or tries to punish
Jangan
him.
dong, jangan
But it's a
dapat.
double up from the both of them. Something coming in from the white swing and he's had enough.
Lo Aaron main sofa udah khatam gak sofa dia?
Getting the final kill. Mind Freak.
Lihat loh.
You know, there's something getting kills, we've seen that before. Mind Freak with 2
Itu
shock
one
dart
way,
kills.
bukan one way.
Not something you see every day, but a welcome sight nonetheless.
Lu
I
lihat.
mean, just getting the information off of
Dah,
Divide, trying to play
pas
around
lihat smoke-nya Cahya turun,
that
foto senyum
felt
anjing.
really iffy. But look at how Forsaken really comes back in, and after they get that information, just being able to put out the tire traps. You got those caltrops, the shock darts. GENG can't really walk onto site that freely, so PRX trying to play a little bit more patient this round, especially with something posted up with that operator. That was the cherry
Itu
on
udah
top
kalkulasi Aaron main shockdartnya.
GENG is so good.
Bukan asal-asalan. Buset lu Witcher ya.
Made up
Gitu,
stats,
Cak.
but they feel like they have the first bloods, you know, very much locked and
Anjing
loaded
benar-benar
in
di
this
ujung.
first map.
Benar-benar dijidat cok anjing jadi pemain film
Stats a little bit more in the favor of
negara
PRX
Ono
for that
kah?
peak. And that
Tengah
slows
sih.
down GENG by a big margin. Not having the flashes
Wah,
anymore from
Monica emang
Lakia
iya.
really hurts the chances here
Kita mau
for
merit.
Texture to get more of these quick contacts into the
Serius
site.
Bang Tondaton. Tahun ini ya?
Definitely slows down GENG. They're always going to be
Oke,
thinking about
ulti
what's
ngecek
next, but now
ngecek keadaan di B up, ada Jet, ada Cypher.
further information. 1 minute left on the clock, and GENG
Ah,
actually
ya,
going back off
diuber.
of a bit of a default. They want to spread themselves across
Bangsat
the
lu
entire
ta.
map.
Something anjing lu.
That's how it's like.
Wik baru saja mengirimkan dukungan 10.000. Buat GENG, pulang aja dek. Jualan pop mie aja, ngeselin kalian dek.
Sabar Bang Wik, thank you ya. Sabar, jangan
But it
marah-marah.
works for them.
Anjing
Right
lah
now,
itu.
he's got information if
Si
they were to
something
cross in the risky
ngeri-ngeri
way.
gitu anjir
Most of them
begitu
have
dia.
already bypassed it, so something going to reposition. But what I'm curious about is Karen actually lurking up around mid.
That also, and well, there you go.
Ya,
Finds the one
Karen
pick
dapat
onto something
something
here.
kok.
There's the quick charge out. Tailwind was actually saved up by Texture, so
Please.
he has
Recon.
capabilities to enter the site.
Ah!
Forsaken's not gonna know
Eh,
about
ketahuan,
Derek.
ketahuan,
Or Kelsey.
ketahuan
Direct
bubble-nya.
action spots him out, 14 seconds. Let's see what the battle comes in
Ketahuan.
from the mid.
Op, masa iya Jason kalah. Aduh.
Should get planted. It's all down to Forsaken for now as he waits for Divide to back the site.
Nice.
What? But Texture! What a
Wah, this
reposition!
guy sih
What a
Jet
challenge! And
Jet
what
20
aim
juta.
has this
Jam
top
anjing main Jet.
Korean brought to the GENG roster?
Texture, what a monster! Dude, yesterday, 2 days ago, he already had such an incredible stat line up against his opponent's RRQ. Having those first kills that you mentioned before, he has 16 throughout the entire series. I feel like this one, he got even more. But not just that, the blade storm, the aim off of it, the way that he cut down Divide at his knees really blocks up PRX, and now they're at that match point. And remember, they are still sitting on 1 timeout.
Bro can see like 2 seconds into the future, man. And in a very quick and fast game like Valorant, that's all really
Ya
need.
Allah, apes
That cascade
banget.
was supposed to give some sort of safety, an access point for PRX to get through on halls. But
Apes banget, Cok.
Wik baru saja mengirimkan dukungan 10.000. Texture bangsat.
what am I gonna lose? Absolutely nothing. And he gains the 1 kill for almost everything.
Sabar ya
here.
Bang Wik.
There is
Please.
no money for PRX right now. Forsaken. Okay, that's one.
Nice run ya jadi upload.
Which he does. Oh, this drone.
Ya Allah. Gua kira bakal thread loh.
It's all down to the buy. He's got a vandal.
Oke lah
so
situ
far from the situation
Aaron
A.
mati. Tapi dibunuh sama something.
I'm running
Aduh.
out of words.
Masa
I
iya
would have thought that
woi.
immediately something would have been able to
Wah,
get a
Genji
trade
sih
at least. but
ngeri loh. Masa Genji yang lolos anjir? Kalah
Decision
baru
making
game.
just a little bit off.
Baru match
but then
1.
at the same
Tenang.
time for GENG to pick up these
Harap
frags
bersabar.
that quickly.
Para pendukung
They are
PRX.
looking in new form today.
Baru match
William
pertama ya.
is definitely chuckling at the desk.
Gua maksimal sampai jam setengah 4 lah cuy.
From pushing us into the next
Kalau ini 3 map masih bisa harusnya. Sekarang jam berapa?
Definitely
2 ya?
patting himself on the back with
2.
his
Kalau nggak delay, nggak ada
GENG
pause
inspired
apa-apa
outfit.
jam 3 map mungkin bisa sih.
3 versus 1.
Match 2-3
Levi doesn't even have any smokes to supplement himself. He just has the weapon in the corners.
Apalagi ini kalau misalnya 2-1 ya.
Dwindling down ever so
Aduh,
closely
by
to
time.
exploding.
Najis.
He does fight texture, but
lihat tuh udah by time, cok. Udah full.
He's gonna activate gravity well. Whoops, whoop. That's about it.
They know they got it.
He's got no time, man. That's gonna be it. And GENG get themselves
Gak apa-apa, Cep. PRX bridge-nya emang nggak ini, coy. Tenang aja, tenang aja.
Texture.
Unlucky.
Carrying through that momentum
Kasih senang dulu biar nggak ini. Kan senang banget tuh, lihat tuh.
And Meteor, of course,
lihat tuh.
Not much left to
Biar
be said.
mereka
They're
overconfident
anchoring,
aja
they're
tuh,
doing
lihat tuh.
everything possible. They know how to play off of PRX's aggressions.
Gak tahu map 2-3-nya 13-1 sama 2 kan.
PRX had a tough time in the first half. They managed to tie things up, but even towards the end,
aduh, udah ada
Wik baru saja mengirimkan dukungan 10.000. Please bang, jangan ngomong dulu. Mulut lu punya unsur magis kayak Flychu, bisa jing gitu. Tahan dulu bang.
Oh yeah, but you know what?
Oke. Jadi gua nggak boleh berkomentar ya. Oke. Bahaya diserang bocil ini, cok. Kings.
Are you guys okay? That was just map 1.
Ya Allah, bisa ada iklan ngentoy. Cukup lah gua nonton stream official ya iklannya, masa ini beneran iklan, ok. Nah, kita harus aja. Kita DM aja. Off mic bang. Terus gua nge-stream babi. Gua tuh nggak ngejing. Aman aja.
Match found.
Oke aja itu. Oh, fuck, ada yang dukung Genji ternyata diam-diam. Nggak apa-apa sih. Kan bebas suara. Tim 1, tim 2, tim 3.
Deathmatch. Warm up.
Apa satu? Apa? Iya cuy. Gua Jipro apa namanya? Aduh. Nembak. Jipro yang lama. Jipro Super Light 2 worth it kan cuy?
Fight.
Ya, udah nggak bisa pakai Jipro biasa dah. Gitu anjing geserannya. Sugesti. Nembak mah tetap kan. Anda wanita. Oh iya, dicairin ya, sabar. Oh iya, sabar. Tunggu dicairin ya. Nah ya. DM aja gua dibantai jing. Lagi lihat game body. Ini aja dikasih. Kok busuk banget menteng. Ya gua harus. Bad nih game. Tapi DM itu hanya gue harus belajar super lag dulu ada. Ini udah nggak ada yang produksi lagi nih. Pro biasa. Akan yang
Pathetic. Raise that.
Ya tapi limited gimana dong? Tapi kayak gue ngegeser nggak? Orang sekarang udah zamannya 4K gitu loh. Gue masih yang lama cok. Masa perle 2 worth it. Lagi kan? Gue tuh tadinya ada niatan buat mencoba ATS itu. 4K emang ngaruh ya? 4K gitu.
10 kills remaining. Dominating.
Uncle Ai. Sorry. Busuk buat mencok anjing. Bang DM. Ada duit langka beliin dong.
Dominating.
Udah di fire cok.
5 kills remaining. Souls. 4 dead. 1 kill remaining.
Bisa bunuh cok. Mulai pas banget.
Flush out because PRX have gotten away with this so many times in the past. It doesn't happen, but then they just continue to try it, and it just was not working out. But now we do have the agent comps ready to go here for Lotus.
That's right. We are stepping into our second map, and it's going to be Lotus, and this is going to be
Ayo, jangan lupa pasang.
I wonder if they are going
Ini loh.
comfort zone here, Will.
Ini baru res.
Earlier, Breeze was their pick.
Jet
So
is
PRX, what do they have planned here?
I mean, the composition hasn't changed, right? It's Monyet just picking up the raise, and we saw this during the offseason. It wasn't the same pace as GENG, but the comms were there. The kind of mini set plays alongside the Sky were there. So I have full faith that PRX is going to come back. My big question, though, for Forsaken is, does he change his setups a lot now with some of those minor map changes on some of the sites like E and C? Because he used to really lock down that part of the map.
Yeah, well, we're going to find out indeed if GENG can manage to do their homework exactly against PRX. Even
gue ngerasa
kayak
gue udah ngegeser ke situ kayak delay gitu loh.
That's the sound of something being tossed and us catching it.
Okay, that's right.
Udah mulai cuy.
It's our first thing on Caster's desk, and this is what you're saying.
Ayo.
All right, let's bring things back to this because you know they were talking
Drone-nya udah
about
habis.
it. Definitely, we're
Refresh-nya
wondering
gue
about
tutup.
Forsaken and how effective he can really be. I think he should have studied enough because that is what he's known to do. He can flex on so many agents, but apart from that, who is going to be the one supplementing Jing? Of course, it's going to be Monyet on that raise.
True, and again,
ya Hadi.
Now that he has that Jet back in his hands, it seems like when he was on the Yoru, he was just following set guidelines. It wasn't the same, something that we were kind of mentioning when he
angle-nya
is
bagus.
on that more
Musuhnya
explosive
nggak
duelist.
masuk sih.
And in case I thought Genji was going to commit on that C site, but no, just a bit of noise here and there. Maybe hoping to coax a bit of rotation from PRX, which has worked. But obviously Genji doesn't know that. But they're still going to hit the other side on B.
I mean, that's the other thing. It's just that this is a map that, you know, PRX can study game tape off of because Genji did play this, you know, against RRQ. So having an idea, you definitely have that something that is feeling a little bit more swift, a little bit more fluid.
Something get in? Oh, I thought he got into the door. He opened it himself. Here's the fight.
Oh,
They're gonna
nice
try to open the pitch very quickly.
Mantap.
And PRX,
Geng bang dia, jangan kasih ampun.
there is no solid ground here.
Defuse bomnya.
It is all quicksand. You gotta
Flash
move,
dia.
he's gonna fall
Majuin
into the
dia.
depth of
Dok
the
dia.
Meteor's by
Bunuh
himself, and
dia.
confused. PRX, solid start on the pistol.
Semua util tuh keluarin.
Alright, excuse me. Actually, it wasn't Genji playing Lotus. I think it was T1. But the composition, the ideas are rather similar except for a few agents. And that's the main thing. Again, still, just with the fights going the way of PRX, it's a little bit tougher for Genji to break through.
Ah, there you go.
Kenapa nggak beli Sheriff ya?
And I do like how... Sorry, I was just getting caught by the replay real quick. I do like how PRX realizes well that if you're going to push on the B side, as their opponents, right, Genji, you do not want to let go control of C-Bomb on Mount. Because doorway control is so strong, especially now in Lotus, that the door opens very quickly and closes very slowly. So them realizing that, you know, just gives them more opportunities to keep Genji hinged into the B side, which allows them to flank around much faster.
Ya aman ya. Ada orang Rusia nggak nih nonton?
PRX uses very well on the on the defense. Mindfreak just making a bit of noise. But look at how Genji is playing defensively. I mean, that's one thing that a lot of teams have adapted to against PRX, expecting or anticipating that they would push out a lot on this defensive side. So they are playing so far back right now, and now that the first minute comes down, now they walk on up to B.
They're about to open the door. Yeah, there's the hot activated already.
Ron. Minimal satu.
There's too many numbers here.
Minimal satu sih.
Lost the weapons.
Ya, kecolong satu-satu.
Monyet's gonna have to hold this by himself. He is down to a
Wah,
very
gelo.
HP.
Coy! Masa iya keikut terus anjir?
All down to him. Thankfully enough, the rest of PRX, they've done somewhat their jobs, as they have lowered the meters, the life of all the Genji players down to half.
Masih ada something.
It's a lot more digestible for something. Vandal indeed in his hands. He's already activated Tailwind, but Genji's not biting. They know they have the numbers advantage. They know the spike is planted already. So something's going to be put into such a decrepit state. He might actually just be forced to save.
Ini fix sih ditinju.
Yeah, if he got one kill, maybe he would have gone for even more, but without that kill,
menang equal
just way
lagi,
too risky. He never knows if someone is holding an off angle, a bit of a crossfire against him, so doesn't want, you know, to get swung upon contact either. And it's just unfortunate. I mean, well played by Genji.
Anjir, itu
because
kalau
they played it
save
safe.
ya, Bulldog sama
They
Spectre.
had those haunts and
Enak.
bits of setups
Duitnya
just
Genji.
draw out
Hidup
some of these
3,
PRX players, right? They
dapat
heard the door, they
senjata.
kind of had
Wah,
an idea.
ekonominya mantep,
This
coy.
might be Mindfreak, he might be around the corner. Let's check. And with so
Iya,
many players up around the
dimainin
corners,
lama sama
it's
si
just PRX kind of putting themselves in awkward positions.
PRX
and,
ya, apa
you know,
Genjinya.
not quite landing their shots too. That's the thing that surprises me the most, because it feels almost as if there's like a bit of that mood shift coming back on stage. Alex talking
Parah
to them
banget,
that
coy,
way,
main lama tuh.
and after having lost the first map, they can't be feeling too good right now.
I'm going on to a different point here. You know how PRX on the attacking side here on Lotus, they love to break that mid lane to go to A to B very quickly. You know, again, using those connectors from site to site to put a lot more motion in the ocean with how they rotate. Genji is doing the exact same thing, and it seems, at least for now, in these couple of rounds, it hasn't really paid dividends. One timing for something there. He's actually going to chase for the kill here. Thankfully enough, there's a lot of utility for Meteor
Aduh,
to give
bahaya
himself
nih.
that space.
Low armor lagi kan,
Yeah,
low.
140
let's
damage to
chill.
the body. Atlas is insane, man.
Peter's not even going for the headshot there. And that's just unfortunate. Again, I mean, half armor, you want to get a kill, at least something. Create a bit more space for the team, but can't find all too much. And something going chasing that way, it's... Dude. Again, not a feels good moment, but for Gen G, I mean, right now, we were talking about it from the previous round. You're talking about how they love to, find that motion in the ocean across the map, find that space and push into the A site. They always have players watching their backs. They always have players watching out for those pushes from PRX.
And having Meteor playing as that Killjoy makes it so easy on Lotus. All you have to really do, I wasn't really expecting my to survive that. All you really have to do is place your alarm bot on C long or A main, depending on which site you're actually committing to. You put it on the elsewhere, and then that one turret on B, is just enough to check out all the flags. Also,
precisely.
Yes to your hub.
Also, just Meteor being Meteor. I mean, he was that guy who always spot Marshals in round 2 last year when he was the
I don't jangan
now onto the Sentinel. I was saying hub because I saw a double Odin.
GENG banyak banget duitnya, cok.
Showstopper available for both the duelists very quickly here.
That too.
Ulti nggak sih?
I love having ultimates very early into the game.
Ya. Udah kontak tuh.
And it looks like okay, let's see. Alright, that's gonna be trade for trade.
Cahaya kagak nembak, cok.
Dust settles 3 versus 3. I mean, what was I supposed to do? What was I supposed to say? When you see 2 raises just coming out into the open with showstoppers, you really just have to have your hands up in the air and wave like you just don't care. Anyways, again, Gen G able to go into the C site. Gonna be able to plant that spike in, and the quick rotation, the quick huddle around Rubble works in their favor because now all of the utilities that PRX is kind of sprinkled around the map has been subverted for the most
Wik
part.
baru saja mengirimkan dukungan 10.000. Ya elah bang, baru hari Senin loh. Udah kelabu aja Senin gue liat PRX ke gini, tolong bang tolong.
Sabar ya bang Wik. Tenang, PRX menang ini. Lu lihat nih Ron ini nih.
There's the NT, not nice try, but the neural theft activated. Meteor still holding on, man.
Lihat aja Ron ini tuh.
He is a force to be reckoned with.
Tuh lihat.
Comes up
tuh lihat, Bang Wik, tenang aja.
Is going to be enough to defuse that spike. But man, oh man, if Forsaken didn't
Santai, ada mas-mas gopur.
For PRX.
Just before I go into the analysis, can you do that again for me, Asrai?
No.
Really?
Jujur enggak sih.
We will do it again.
Jujur ya Dimas ya. Lu kalau misalnya berharap dari play-in itu lebih banyak kemungkinan lu kayak buat lolos apa enggaknya tuh lebih banyak kemungkinan bisa nggak lolos atau nggak lu? Karena banyak tim yang harus dilawan lagi. Paling bener lu harus menang di sini. Lu harusnya biar bisa nyantai.
You've got this Odin, but Forsaken getting the heads-up duel, and just Meteor holding the angle off. It's beautiful Valorant on both sides, but Mindfreak clutching out on top of it was the main
diambil
factor.
Cuma 1.
Now, seems like we're back, down to even. Door's been opened up, but no one wants to charge in on tree. I guess it makes a lot of sense. They know that Odin is available already for device, so they don't want to get
ya kalau PRX menang map ini kan bukan match. Kalau match ini
Device already pushed up here, so now he knows no one's actually
nanti dia nunggu lawan dari grup lain.
So there is a lot of merit that they might actually break through that link, go to B, or rotate around. Meteor, his timing is going to be very crucial. Forsaken chase a little bit too hard.
Ini Meteor kok bisa jalan, cok?
He can activate it right now, let the rest of his team come in, or use it as bait, force the rotation away from PRX. And go elsewhere.
And that's the best thing that Gen G has going for them right now. The number of options
ada orang di B ya.
to Meteor getting that first kill, but now committing over to B side, paint shells in, it buys PRX a little bit of time for something to come up with the judge.
Ada.
He knows someone's right behind him, but since they haven't picked up that spike, he can just be as patient as possible, hold for the rest of his team. That's all he really needs to do. Texture stayed. Not going to do much damage, but he does pick it up. He can get closer and closer here, create that tempo if need be. But the one that's going to have to hold the most is Meteor right on top of that B site.
Ron,
kelas lagi Ron. In a 2 versus 1. They've doubled up onto the corner here. They got a shot at step. He's got a shot at step. But he's waiting patiently, but you mentioned it already, man.
Udah teriakan.
He can't do the high-low. Too slow, and that's going to be Gen G with a round advantage.
That is such a difficult shot to land. I mean, the only time I've ever seen anyone pull off something like that was like maybe Sentinels a few years ago, but still.
Wow, what memory you have, sir?
I don't know, I'm thinking of like Dapper or something. But still, I mean, back into this one, it's just so darn good from GENG, the way they've been playing this. You know, I think something kind of jumped around and fired off his judge, thinking that maybe he would be able to buy the attention away, but GENG doesn't bite that bait. They stayed hard up on stairs, B stairs, up against you know, some of these players from PRX like Mindfreak, and making sure that they wouldn't be able to push out.
Yeah, and again, it's because they don't really have to chase him. Again, they can rotate elsewhere on the map. They still had Meteor coming through C that got the kill on Forsaken here. That's a trade for trade. Something's got the Blaze. They're pushing out very aggressively here. Forsaken wants to create more tempo.
Abur lu ya.
PRX come into waterfall on that
Abur lu ya, Genji.
3-3. GENG's trapped onto the site. Smokes from from Mindfreak to provide some coverage here. Paranoia to delay them just a tad bit further. One satchel pushes right in. Caron holding, thinking he could be top of the spike. Numbers of PRX dwindling down. Something's going to
kok right click.
Right click. Very shallow, and that's just going to be a clean pickup.
Kok tumben nggak right click?
Cleanup, excuse me. Quick cleanup. That's the words I was using. Because GENG's too fast, dude. I can't react in time.
We can't even say too much about like economical damage either. In that round, PRX was just really trying to find as much as they could, get some kills in. Something getting the Blade Storm going was, you know, a glimmer of hope, but just a bit of hope at best, because it was just way too difficult. GENG saw the flank coming out. They knew, all right, let's just go to C instead. So something's not going right for PRX right now. Alex calls in the timeout.
Udah. Apakah
just a bit of a breather again here. Usually when that happens, PRX do get their second wind. They definitely need that. Especially for all of us.
Apakah Meja jadi samsak Alex?
No, I'm kidding.
I mean, I'm really curious about the interview, if we do get to talk to PRX later. Like, something's definitely off about, you know, the form or the mood in the team right now. It's not always so often that you always, you know, when they don't perform well, it's usually when you start to see these patterns, like Forsaken or something start to go chasing and hunting. They don't feel good, and they want to shoot themselves back in the game.
Masa sebenarnya nggak terlalu ngaruh,
well, especially against a GENG that's feeling
apa
this
nggak ada
Jing? You want to chase us?
Adanya monyet.
I can only assume it's them trying to uphold their performance from last year. You know, chasing that high that they got, and it might be getting into their heads. I can only assume. I don't know if it's the real cause, but there definitely is some. There definitely is a change up here from something. There you go. I changed my words already. Anyways, still hasn't really shown what he's got on this raise. I don't think he's gotten too many big of highlights. You know, it's just the crossing of the streams of those showstoppers that we saw, but that's about it. Still pretty early into this game, though.
Not really feeling all that much yet, but at the very least, trying to get a read for GENG's game plan right now. We've seen a lot of that A to mid link play, like you mentioned before, Asteroid, and PRX are trying to adapt around it. They know that Nightfall is available as well, so just trying to play away from it. Now they're set up for something, maybe to at least toss paint shells to deny spike.
Abur!
Trickster's hunting. Oh my god.
Oh, nice banget dodge-nya.
Barely dodges that, gets out of harm's way. But that's the power that they've got. Big kill onto Munchkin there, though, but Meteor still holding on Rubble. If he can hold on to this position, his teammates can rely on him to hold that long angle right now, but not available anymore. Texture throws the nade from up above on Heaven, so they know that somebody's at least up there as he tries to reposition. The rest of PRX coming in closer, something floating, stinging like a bee.
Wait, Texture anjing banget loh. Kok bisa sih? Oh, nice. Wah, ini Texture nggak, masa iya coy?
But Texture is all in his wheelhouse, baby. Smoke does dissipate, so Divide very quickly will be able to get that refrag as well as the complete defuse, and PRX strikes back.
Yeah, classic PRX protocols coming in for those trades. Something with the shorty floating into the dark cover. That was always,
you know, that's always
fun to watch. But it all starts with Monyen. I think he was trying to create a little bit more space, but the paint shells kind of threw off. And he died really early on because of these shots coming in from Gen G. However, once something comes in, once Forsaken starts to get going, they can go in for those trades, then we see the PRX fold. The PRX that we're all familiar with. We need more of that, though. I mean, you can't just always rely on these retakes. These round was won thanks to Alex's timeout. That was thanks to, you know, the read that they had, knowing that Lakio would go in for that Nightfall.
Yeah, and again, just as I mentioned already, losing both the players holding Rubble, the long angle, was such a huge discrepancy for Gen G because they can always have someone hit the re-lurk outside of A main. Anyways, moving into this round, there's only one player holding that A side, and it's Mindfreak. He's put himself the one-way smoke on Tree here to give him some form of anchoring spot.
Solo gini, cuy.
But thankfully enough, no one's gotten very close into challenging him just yet, but now they do. Prowler's been used. Wow. He's gonna get pushed back.
Wik baru saja mengirimkan dukungan 10.000. Buat texture, GW sumpahin jual otak-otak lu Sat.
Holding the backside, anchoring it for the moment.
Disuruh
Waiting
dagang
again
ini
for
kah?
Monyet to double up with him and try to do something as of now. Dog is available. Monyet, I think reposition. Wait, what is happening here? Locky is trying to run away. He opens the door quickly, backs up, but something doesn't have to challenge
Thank
him
you,
just
Bang
yet.
Wik.
Munchkin has the wall, drops right down.
Mampus kau,
He has so many
Munchkin.
angles to deal with. The crossfires, too numerous for PRX, and we equalize once again.
Yeah, this is what we want to see from PRX. This is the PRX we need. The tempo at which they're going, not just, you know, going for those early aggressive kills, trying to find frags or chasing down Meteor. In fact, what they do is to kind of hold back. You've got Mindfreak, set up that one way. You know, you got hold your space, make sure you gain map control, and you got Divide just kind of getting information off of stairs, jump peeking a little bit. Once they confirm that the hit's coming through, they have an idea of where Meteor
Ada
can
jadi
lurk
main
in from.
Phantom dah.
That's what they want. That's how Forsaken picks up that first frag. That's how, you know, Mindfreak does a little bit more.
Speaking of Mindfreak here, he held for a very long time that tree position.
Yeah.
Loving how he does it. I mean, yeah, sure, he doesn't get any kills, but the threat of him of getting that kills and forcing Gen G to
lagi
put
BO
that
nggak?
into the factors of how they push up into the side is pretty huge. I will say though, I don't think I've seen Forsaken be successful, in holding a site. He's been good at getting the lurks because he's
Nanti
Forsaken,
mode
but
BU-nya
the
nanti.
setups that he's done on C
BU-nya
really
nanti.
hasn't resulted in Gen G you know, being thwarted. Meteor has gone there and gotten those flanks, so I don't know how far he can go
Munchkin
into
ya,
this.
banyak jalan-jalan.
Pop shots does put Munchkin down to 56.
Always makes you think twice about wanting to lurk or at least call some rotations over. They know that there is a bit of PRX presence all across the map. PRX is no longer, you know, really pushing out all that much anymore.
Biar masuk ke
Gen G
crosshair
now trying to play
something.
along
Ayo
with
ke
this
B,
tempo, trying to
nah.
adapt to it, but it burns down the timer. Look at the
Pintu
clock
doang,
Azurite.
taunya ke
Look at
B.
this though,
Ya
Gen G can actually go
hai.
for that link, and if
Jangan cabut.
something is too slow for this one, even if he
Bengong
escapes this,
manja.
he's gonna get pinched in. Unfortunately for PRX, Meteor gets it once and for all. Monyet comes in here with a showstopper, and the rocket goes boom boom. That's gonna be Monyet get the finalizing kill. And even though something falls, PRX were very quick to adapt and to respond to the offense of Gen G.
I will take that
aja ada
bootleg
Monjet.
boom boom
Kira
from
Azurite.
Azurite. Not quite the one that we got from before,
Lupa
but
lu
you know,
jangan
still
ngomong,
good.
masa iya nggak
Stop
boleh
chasing,
ngomong.
stop hunting it. You'll get it when there is a well-deserving
You were absolutely right with the setup that something had. I mean, I would have thought at least he would be able to secure at least one op kill, right? But the rest of the team reacting that quickly,
Look,
yet
Jason.
knowing to go for the showstopper that soon, that was what PRX needed, and that's why you got to have this setup from PRX. That's why they're not
dari
pushing out
Solo.
all that much. It might not be, you know, full-blown double
Kenapa
gaming,
Forsaken
but
nggak
this is
main
also
duelist
what
lagi? Udah
Victoria was talking about
ada
before.
banyak
That
duelistnya di
lateral
situ.
shift. You're not always that same PRX. You've got
Siapa
Monyet now,
mekanik
and it's just
Forsaken?
that much more
Forsaken
control.
kalah dia itu.
Of course, though, Gen G now starting to feel the pressure. They call themselves a timeout.
Yeah, and if I can just add, I've had the pleasure of also being able to cover the Indonesian scene because, you know, Southeast Asia and everything. Monyet's been there for a good chunk of time before he joined Global, right? And a lot of the characteristics, I think, of the Indonesian scene is how well they can adapt in these very tight-knit, very crunched-up situations. And you see that be translated into his play with PRX very quickly. I think there was an interview where he said that he needed a bit more
Menunya
time
ada kayak
to adjust,
tahu
but
bulat
because
kah?
he's been in that situation for such a long time in his local scene, you see that translate into Pacific League 2024 with PRX much quicker. And
That's right.
I mean, look at this.
Oke, Kaca, menurut lu
Back
tadi
when he
Breeze
was an Onyx,
nyoba
you
Agent
know,
nggak sih?
APAC, LCQ, he was
Nyoba
doing
Agent
things such
sih
as
dibilang
neon
nyoba
plays.
sih enggak.
Kid is talented.
Ya,
But, I
tapi
mean,
mereka
apart
udah
from
coba
that,
di
he's
latihan
like
gitu.
10 years younger.
Emang dipakai untuk di
Okay.
turnamen ya.
I don't know how old you are, right? But anyway, I mean, this is a round where PRX has some guns. GENG, on the other hand, it's more of a half-ish, force-ish, half-buy.
Yeah.
And you're always thinking about, like, you know, they called in that timeout. They want to suss out information and get a feel for how PRX is defending this time. But something's not going to make it that easy.
Wah, itu kalau ada yang buta ya.
Close
Sumpah rata itu sama monyet.
Something's gonna back away, retreat. Danger, alert. That nade
Busuk.
clearing him up once again. Not big damage. But as that
Itu
door keeps
nggak ada yang lihat ya.
closing and
Itu
opening.
Ster udah deket tuh.
We don't know how many players have
Kanannya
already
si something
exited. How many
cuek
players are
ya.
still holding.
Gak ada orang kah?
Holding.
Lihat. Nah, itu loh maksud gua yang ini. Nah,
Something.
ya Allah pelurunya kemana itu?
And that's Meteor. He can call back his teammates if he wants to. There it is. Lockdown available. And Meteor opens up the A side by pure sheer power.
I got to see the replay on that. I mean, it's so interesting and off-putting how GENG is approaching the map. It was a half-buy. You just had this squad of stingers. But guess what? Here comes Forsaken and the spike plant goes down.
Yo. This man might not be the Guardians.
Wah, udah ada teriakan anjing.
The Guardian of Lotus.
Gila, Meteor
4
cuy.
kills for Meteor.
Mengobrak-abrik.
On a Guardian, man. That's pretty insane. Dude is tapping heads left and right.
Yeah, first of all, we had the space from GENG, like I was mentioning before. I mean, it's a little bit weird to open the door and then just hide inside a tree. But then PRX coming in to investigate, and then off of that space, Meteor is the one that, you know, they weren't really expecting to be there, and because of his sharpshooting, he's able to pick off their heads just like that. Something wasn't quite able to deal with him, and that's something that I definitely did not expect. I want to see something with his op, really, you know, really pop it off, but he's not doing it so far.
And with all of the abilities that can really flush you out as you know, a jet with an operator, it's very hard for him to do that. Yes, there's no big flashes from GENG here, but Prowler,
Meteor bisa begitu gak
Smokes,
Guardiannya?
Paranoia. There's a whole slurry of non-flash abilities that can
Bang,
really irk you.
Guapo,
if you're
gua
something.
sengaja dari
GENG's
tadi
been
kagak
using that to a very good
nge-highlight itu ya.
Now going up against him as well.
Jadi gua
However,
baca
he holds
dalam
his ground,
hati
picks up
kayak
the first one and backs away.
sengaja loh ke
So
distract
this
sama
gives
Meteor
PRX
tadi.
a little bit more information and inkling
Apa
as
yang
to where
dibahas
GENG wants to
itu?
approach from. Something re-peaks and holds the angle. Defy comes
Ah,
for information
langsung
away, but
nge-kill
doesn't find out too
lo.
much.
Ready for that.
Lihat
Here
no.
comes something.
He's got the tailwind again, so he can get out of harm's way if need be,
Aduh,
but
ke spot anjing.
overpeaks. That's gonna be
Cuma nggak overpick sih, cuma kayak nanggung
Onyx
gitu
now
picknya.
trapped here on drop. That Han
Mampus
giving,
tuh Meteor
supposedly giving
kentoy.
away position, but somehow Forsaken manages to squeeze
Jangan
his
kasih
way
menang,
through
jangan kasih
back
menang.
side,
Hey,
big counter
nice.
by himself, and Mind Freak for the pinch. That is going to be PRX holding off one more round, and as this announcer mentioned, we are here for the last round of the first half.
6-5. I mean, still a really close score, and it doesn't put PRX out of harm's way. And if you're thinking about it, I mean, something maybe didn't quite get the kills, but at least bought enough time, did enough damage for his team to arrive on scene. And that's another thing. It just Forsaken playing this role, you know, unless they're walking into his traps, unless they're going into him, we won't often see him popping off that way, unless he arrives with his team.
Yeah. And I love this from Forsaken. Again, it's old news, but I love how he's transitioned into this type of guy that can use these sentinels. And look at the man, he's still getting kills left and right. Munchkin, he's got himself a judge. I mean, long range, he got the Sheriff. If he can close the distance somewhat, maybe there's a world where he can use that Viper Pit. But look at how many players of PRX are just holding that angle right up in his face.
Yeah, look at the cones of vision on the minimap too.
Yeah. But they're getting closer. Hold on. Wait. Oh my god.
Gua nggak
heart
fokus nih
attack,
sebentar
man.
ya.
Just think about it.
Three
But
players. All right.
yeah.
Something wide swing. Okay. We got this.
Yeah.
7-5 is not too bad for PRX. Obviously not the, score that you would envision for a team of this caliber, but still good nonetheless. 2 rounds ahead. If they can pick up the pistol, that would be even better. But of course, GENG has been showing us such a dominant performance today. I mean, these guys aren't buckled by anything that PRX is throwing at them.
Absolutely. And again, you do see that. It feels like I can't really say any names right now of GENG players on Lotus that's making any plays, because it's the whole team. It's how well they're able to play off of, I feel like, the setups that the Fade does, right? So, and then they just kind of feed off of that.
But I will say, I mean, like, if not for that, previous map we might have seen Texture popping off like crazy. This one, I will say, Meteor was someone who kept showing up. He was the one who won them that one round where they had nothing but a half buy, just using nothing but a Guardian. Meteor has been holding things down. Meteor has been dueling out against Forsaken.
That, and the one, actually, thank you for saying that as well. There's that one point where he was lurking on C, gets Forsaken, single-handedly holds that site and allows GENG options. They could even keep pushing that A site or rotate to C where Meteor was, so absolutely right.
Nih, Cadel nanya nih coy. Cadel kayaknya mau ini dah.
Here coming into this second half.
Mau nonton dia.
Texture still has the kill leader too. So PRX kind of does have to watch out, but of course now that Forsaken, gets to stretch his legs on this attacking side, hoping that we can see a little bit more from the team that, won us VCT Pacific finals last year, and then of course going to champions as well. I don't need to introduce them, everyone knows.
Yeah,
tapi nggak bisa juga gua. Gua nggak bisa juga.
Because the thing about Lotus,
kalau dia nonton di match kedua, gua nggak bisa, cuy.
Is people will just, do basically.
Fokus dulu nggak sih? Gameplay, fokus gameplay. Buset, dah ini kenapa rata anjing? What the fuck, Texture?
Very deadly. My God, Texture.
Wah, ini kenapa, coy?
Mind Freak.
Coy.
He's alone. He's got dark cover to work for days, but his opponent, they can last for months. So, just see how more that is. 4 versus 1. He's repositioning around the corner here. Meteor hears him. I wonder if there's a world where Meteor tries to stab Mind Freak here if he over pushes or doesn't even check the corner. But
no.
Play it safe.
Current teams, no. No knife.
Wishful thinking, man. Wishful thinking.
But I mean, it's just how they play. Very controlled. They know the setups. And I do kind of have a feeling that this is something that GENG had prepared. Studying game tape from PRX before, knowing that this is definitely something that we want to go for, right? This rubble control, it's so useful, gives you legs to have that option towards A or mid-link if you want to, set up split pushes. They want to deny that. And that one nade from Texture, not to mention Lakia and Texture pushing in together, just throws PRX off so much.
Can I add as well? Munchkin's Toxic Screen was pretty huge for that, because usually you'd see that and say, it's the safety for the A side. No, it's the danger for Rumble for you if you're trying to push that. Speaking of pushing though, it's the C. Zoom in past Monyan.
Oh,
I love this! The double jumping PRX!
Yo, but they still got the shot, man. Whew. So although Monyan makes it through, has a Bulldog, can't go up against Munchkin now. What?
Last player
Alright,
standing.
down to something with a Marshall. 3 versus 1. Makes it a quick 2v1. Okay. That spike is very much out in the open for him. He's got a dash, he actually repositions. But wait, does that angle actually work for him? It's very risk, so he has to try to do something here. Oh my God. Oh, he even got the crosshair in the head near the body space of Lakia. Something overdoing it, going back into C-Long. I mean, it was for the information, but he kind of overheated in that situation too.
Aduh,
really close.
Gak lihat
I mean,
lagi
at least
gua.
had the
Apa
right
yang
idea
terjadi,
to
coy?
tail it out of that hairy situation and
Anjing di one tap.
to play for time a little bit, trying to distract Munchkin, but I
Ente
mean,
nih.
Lakia. As soon as
Bagum.
Lakia goes in though, just knowing to crouch and to keep his head tucked under.
Yeah.
Lakia is not always like a standout fragger, but in some situations knows exactly what to do, has enough experience.
Yeah. He's got a good head on his shoulders for sure. Something challenging here. It's tagged up. Correct me if I'm wrong, we casted Lakia last year, right, on Ascension Pacific.
Yeah.
Where he
Damwon
was on
Kia.
Damwon Kia.
Ayo 7 sama, jangan sampai kalah ya.
Opportunity to really
Ayolah,
showcase what he's got there.
ayo.
GENG here.
Ayo PRX. Tetap
Very
manja
much
dulu.
different. In a very good way for GENG, by the way.
Oke, outlaw dari
Course,
something.
now, with enough economical damage,
Walk manja.
GENG not having the best guns. You know, you got a Ghost on Texture, Karon on the, well, it's Karon still. PRX buying up, trying to do what they can. You've got something on this outlaw, but GENG just respects all of this space and plays for numbers instead.
Kenapa aja yang main Bang Kicau meledak? Habis ini ada
Fair enough. Especially with the rest of PRX holding
ada GE
stairs
lawan
and they've got everything locked and loaded. They don't really need to stay inside of the site. They can be as proactive as much as they would want to.
Oh,
Karon does get that angle against something, but damage is already done here, Quack. GENG, I feel like it's only going to be exits and a bit of economic damage that they can really do in this round.
Makes me wonder if it was like the barrel peeking out. But
Probably
that,
is.
Again, yeah, it's just Karon still.
And you know, it's that nerd talk about line of sight. You get closer into a corner. You can see your opponent faster than they do. We're not going to get deep into that.
34 degrees here in the corner of the wall.
TLDR, guys. The closer you are to a wall when you peek a corner, the worse it is for you. The farther you are from a wall when you peek a corner, the better it is for you.
Kayak angle
disadvantage
angle anjir. Square mah.
As they move forward.
Curut main.
But GENG has
jadwalnya.
definitely caught up, winning out that pistol and the subsequent round after that. So now buying back up, I mean, we
menang
saw
2-1.
GENG, you know, this round really just kind of playing it safe. Still a lot of damage, but
ya kan kita berharapnya GE yang menang
how
kan.
else PRX can come in because
kayaknya
here the game really starts to rev up.
And it's still so neck and neck, Quack. I mean, did we come into this day thinking that it would be this close between PRX and a
Ini kan
revamped
bebas
GENG?
berpendapat
Yeah,
kan.
sure.
How many of us voted for, predicted PRX would win?
All of us except for William.
Except for William.
Truly is the will I have.
Kenapa VCT? Karena Neon masih belum tahu. Masih nggak di semua map harus dipakai Neon. Kayak kemarin Driz kan ada yang main tuh. Si Yay. Dia kan main Neon. Mungkin kalau ada fracture Neon kepake.
We know that they have the potential to push out,
Fracture,
especially with a player like Texture at their hands. PRX has to, you know, be on guard.
True, and again, they have to be very aware of how strong the rubble
Betul
control
bagus.
can be for GENG here. Again, it was only
Mana
a glimpse
Adel?
of what it could be on that
Abis
pistol,
hilang,
but it can translate into these gun rounds a whole lot more. Now, looking quickly into the ultimate cache of both of our teams, PRX
Governor
has
juga
gotten a little bit
main
more
Neon.
of the strong suit with the blades and the showstopper available here. But GENG not lagging too far behind.
Halo
If he can
Nasiruddin.
get that one kill, he will have access to that showstopper of his.
Barusan ilmu.
Ntar
di ring banyak yang main Fed, Recon tuh. Untuk tenaga.
We've seen their A, we've seen a bit of their C.
Ya, Cadel mana coy?
Haven't seen all too much else for now though. I mean,
Cadel udah gue balas hilang deh.
PRX with Monyet now, just executing at the C site. Kind of bypassed Munchkin's judge. Oh, but look at that door play from Lakia.
Oh man, again, the door opens so quickly that you can't really sometimes react to the punish that could follow up from the defenders, and you see that
Sunset
activate so
Neon
quickly here.
bisa aja sih.
Now just gonna be holding with the judge
Ada
first. I do
tipu,
like this
guys.
because again, you don't want to play
Nah,
that
coy,
close and
mungkin
hope for accuracy. You just want to go
lagi
for the
ada
pellets
sesuatu
first
yang
of this
dikerjakan
shotgun. Munch is gonna
Shotgun!
be first on the pedestal.
Kalau nggak satu hit, belajar dari Ray ya. Nanti dikasih tahu ya caranya. Itu loh maksud gue. Ambil dulu senjatanya. Budek manja dulu. Itu ultinya kemana. Oke. 3 melawan 2. Nggak mungkin kan kalah. Ya iyalah, nggak mungkin lah. Masa iya. Nggak mungkin kalah dong.
To deal with. And that's going to be the 9-7 for PRX here.
Yeah, great solve on the C site. You know, you got something.
Nggak
You
mungkin
have
kalah
a
cuy
bit
kalau itu.
of utility
Karena
to
Jing
buy with the guiding light as
kalau
well.
kalah
It just
nggak
pushes
mungkin.
Munchkin away.
Itu nggak mungkin
enough
terjadi.
for something to get into
Tapi
position
kenapa
to do
judge-nya
things like
dia
this.
nggak
I mean,
satu
he was
hit ya
really
kayak Ray
a
ya?
lot more calm
Satu hit
in
loh.
this moment.
and then picking up that Phantom and tailwinding away. Coming down to it as soon as they picked up those numbers, as soon as they figured out where GENG was going to approach from, much more easy for PRX to defend post-plant.
Yeah, but again, GENG showing the same thing that they brought up here from that Breeze map, which is that they can't punish the transit of
What the
PRX,
fuck?
and they do
Masa
it
iya
once again
thrifty
in
manja
this
lagi
round.
cuy?
Look at that. Something's been dropped
Emang
down as well
jago
as
cok,
Forsaken.
Genji
One
thrifty-nya.
frantically trying to get control here of C. Doesn't matter if he is alone or with teammate. What a dodge from Mind Freak! Oh my goodness! They're trying to rally behind that showstopper of Texture.
What the fuck, man?
From Charon.
Wah, Echo coy.
Alone. The new blood from PRX sit down by GENG. What a thrifty round from the Koreans.
Ini sih kemarin ya udah lah ya kenapa bisa Iko emang jago.
Just wait for that contact from PRX. Once that green light was lit, GENG knew exactly how to get going, and it just definitely is a PRX that once again starting to get in their own heads a little bit. You know, you got the previous round, things are starting to go. You know that GENG is on an eco, and you're like, I can take
Jago,
them,
jago,
start to
ikonya jago.
walk out, and it just,
Aduh, Coach Alek udah
it
kayak
just hurts, man.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
Ah.
And again, it boils down
Ay.
to, I don't want to assume, but it feels like they don't want to challenge A for the moment because again, they're afraid of that rubble control, especially
kalau
when
misalnya tahu
they saw that
musuhnya
Texture
Iko,
was,
util aja
mirroring his
udah.
showstopper, so they wanted to try to go
Biar
for
aman.
PRC. Again,
Abis
the
namanya ya.
adaptability of that is very quick. You can rotate either way because you have control of the door, but they somehow get pinched in transition of that, and we see GENG utilize that for the past 2 rounds. Now PRX feeling that pressure, gotta call for that timeout. It's not GENG getting that huge advantage, but every single time that you thought that PRX was gonna break away, GENG, they're bringing it right back, baby.
That's just incredible from GENG.
Wik baru saja mengirimkan dukungan 10.000. Lu gak ada kenalan dukun bang, biar bisa disantet nih GENG.
Getting to buy up to the next now. You've got an Odin back on Forsaken.
Aduh.
Something on that op again.
Gak bisa bang Wik, kasihan jangan-jangan. Ini mereka hoki aja.
Okay. Oh, the Haunt actually
Wih,
gave
itu
away
Haunt
the
gak ada yang
position there of
ngancurin.
something as well as Mind Freak.
Kerikon dengan nyantai aja tuh.
PRX
Sabar ya
for
bang Wik ya.
just a few seconds here.
Mereka disentilnya nangis bang Wik. Apalagi
Not
di
really the biggest of
kirim-kirim hal-hal itu.
hindrances for now.
Just letting them gain control over this spot, but look at the positioning that they have.
Tembusin.
Texture still up around, could go up the ropes.
Alah siapa itu kan
And then you've got
kirain dikit
Munchkin
nggak sih San?
just
Udah ya?
ready to welcome them with open arms on the other side of Link.
Texture's trying to delay as much as he can at the back of the site, hoping that he can.
Mantap Cahya!
But he will not. Lakia coming in to pinch, at least stopping some of
Weh,
this
4 lawan
massive
3
back
weh.
control
4
that
lawan 3,
PRX
4
has
lawan
gotten
3.
on that A.
Pas pelan manja, 4 lawan 3.
It's all about the
Awas
retake here for
mata-mata
GENG.
manja itu.
Divide does find Munchkin here.
Ikon tuh rabel
In a more
anjir.
palatable situation for PRX. Lakia opening the door.
Ah.
Finds him with an Odin.
Meteor.
He's gonna just have to run away here, or just stay in the side, whichever. They're already pretty rich, so they can just buy up to the next round anyway. So they can make this into an expensive endeavor for
Shotgun
PRX.
sorti semua anjir.
A little bit expensive, man. Yeah, dying. But yeah, that's always funny when you
Ah,
got you open a
tinjuk lah,
door.
Cahaya.
Hello, say hello, my little
Duit
friend.
buat
and, Forsaken's on the
bosoek
other
ya.
side. But
Sorry, I just wanted to say that's why a lot of teams on Lotus have now just been picking up the Odin. I know it's not brand new news or anything, but this is a big reason why you can just wall bang for days that specific angle, whether you're attack or defending, and it is such a huge. Look at this! It's such a huge power play for you to be able to do that.
On the attacking side
Nice,
too,
nice,
especially
nice,
if you're
nice.
behind
Go.
rubble, you can spray
Keep it
through,
up,
try to
keep
catch
it
them
up,
as
guys.
they try to approach. And that's what Forsaken is doing.
Aduh, Aron sendiri aja tuh.
Wik baru saja mengirimkan dukungan 10.000. Masalahnya hokinya kebangetan gen-geni bang. Ketnya gen-ge abis makan babi jadi manyala abangku gitu loh bang.
To infinity and beyond, the showstopper comes to truly stop that show.
Gak, iya hokinya banyak banget sih emang. Tapi mereka emang line up yang oke sih ini Genji ini bisa ngalahin DRX ini Genji ini.
things. Meteor
Tenang Bang Wik-Wik. PRX bisa atasi masalah ini ya. Tadi Breeze emang bukan map PRX banget lah. Santai. Kan itu picknya penmukih tuh kau. Ya. Nice banget Jason. Kunai. Reklik gak sih? Nice. Lihat Bang Wik-Wik. Lihat. Tenang aja.
So although they picked up quite a bit, making use of the Killjoy lockdown, GENG got a bit of space, but the setup from PRX was still just that good, and that's always the thing about you know the A site. You've got tree that you can hold out from. You've got the stairs area that you can also watch from. And Divide knows how to play off of his teammate that way.
Oh, Davai.
Again.
I don't care. They're having fun.
Kata Davai, udahlah kita main having fun aja. I don't care.
That need someone to keep those spirits up. You know, if not, something or Ilya will get really in their heads.
I don't care, kata dia.
What is this? Okay, just open the door, get tripped up, see what happens. Wall has been called in a little bit closer into the A main position, and that actually works in the favor here of GENG.
Yang bener aja cuy.
Forsaken get blasted very quickly.
Yang bener aja cuy.
Very close into the
nice.
right now, but Divide realizes that he has to come pinch in for his teammates.
Nah, itulah maksudnya.
Gue gaming. Like a bee for something, loving to use that floaty. Both snipers actually missing as they try to reposition quickly, but now they know. Meteor's position exposed. He's only got a Marshall in his hand here, Quack, and it truly is danger time for him if he loses this.
Gara-gara menang thrifting mulu pakai Marshall, mau pakai Marshall terus lu anjing.
Okay, Meteor.
Woo! That's the same Meteor that we saw from GENG last year.
Udahlah pakai Marshall lah. Jago ternyata Marshallnya. Marshallnya berasa ya kena jidat itu pelurunya. Abi itu.
I mean, GENG's whole game plan was to really try to find
Wik-Wik baru saja mengirimkan dukungan 10.000. Masalahnya PRX coba-cobanya depan tekstur DKK Bang. Biji bawah gua jadi cenat-cenut Bang. Ah, sudahlah.
Aman. Tadi nyoba-nyobanya dia nyantai aja tuh. Harusnya Cahya tahu cara menanganin tekstur. Cuma dia baru ngasih tahu di map kedua aja. Mulut kaca bahaya nih, enggak Bang Bobacot. Sorry.
We've already seen some great impact actions here from GENG. Something's been taken away from the board.
Gitu loh, binatang
GENG still threatening a lot of that control on Rubble. This means that it's only down to really Manya to entry into the site.
Meteor!
Anjing. Meteor is here.
Tracking cok, lu kira main ini.
Denies access into that C site. And PRX
Greger gak liat match ini, Greger sih pengen main dia. Cek kiri gak sih, cek angle gak sih? Dok better. Aduh, dihancurin cok.
Way too much. There's so much delaying that the rest of the PRX members on the other side, if they go into this, it's not a favorable numbers duel. Something kind of losing the Charon on the other side of the map as well just doesn't quite work out for them. So GENG gets to extend their lives.
Ya. Anjing banget lo bisa recon ke situ. Harusnya dia reconnya keluar C, coy. Kata Jason. Gak jelas lu lagi ya, babi.
Texter's now gonna have himself the sniper in hand. What happened here at this point? Yes, there it is. Charon getting that quick Rubble control.
Anyong namasmida.
Because of all the delay tactics that we saw from GENG. And C-side, it was the same thing, but then Meteor was the one holding.
Yeah, it's all these tiny, slight bits of utility. You know, Meteor has the Nanostorm. It kind of slows down the rest of the team. They can't quite follow up with Monyet because of it. And keep in mind, PRX has spent timeouts at this point. They're on an eco. It's a bit of a half buy, but it's starting to bite them in the back.
Ooh, Charon, where did he come from? Picks up the 2K. There's the quick flash.
What happened? Oh, eco. Mampus.
Okay, hold on. Divide gets 2. But never mind. All right, I'll bite my tongue there.
Sabar ya.
12 to 10.
Iko ternyata
really
tadi
having solid
aman.
control on Rubble, man.
Iko
There
masih
is
Iko.
no answer for Paper Rex in these past few rounds.
Past two at the very least. The adaptations, I mean, that's another thing with the Paper X structure. You know, all of them are giving ideas as to how they want to approach the map or
kena
figure out
doknya
ways
si
to
Dava
deal
ya,
with
itu
Gen
ke
G.
stun ya. Nyangkut.
But
Jadi
yeah,
kena
they've
temennya.
spent those timeouts, and this means, you know, unless there's a clear answer,
Aaron bawa soek ya?
we might actually have an overtime at our hands.
Paper Rex are running out of credits to actually fall back on for the moment too. This camera.
Texture and
Tawan di
Yeah,
atas.
there you go.
Musuh
He
nggak
does
sih,
give away
Chan?
the position too of his opponent right in front of him.
Batu.
Only Forsaken really just holding A main. He wants to be able to anchor this by himself from the looks of things. That will allow Paper Rex to, again, make do with elsewhere. But they're so far back from both sides, man. They haven't really done this kind of slower approach at all in this map.
Ayo, fokus. Ambil A lagi nggak sih? Ah, itu loh. Gebukin aja nih Karon.
One-way smokes are all being spent up around this one spot. And then, of course, you still got Munchkin available with that toxic
Flagnya
screen.
dulu nggak sih?
A is a
Ah,
very
cabut
difficult
lu,
spot to hit
anjir.
right now, but trying to make something happen off of the Odin suppressive fire.
The door,
Okay, they open the
masukin.
doorway into
Aduh.
tree. Oof, Texture,
Towelnya
here you
diturunin.
go. Inside the smoke is going to be Charon. The Paper Rex are pushing blind into the site. They gotta just go for that big
Hop,
contact.
something.
Finding Munchkin.
30 seconds left.
Showstopper activated. Does that stop the plan on the spike? Yes, it will be. But it's
Bulan
straight
dua.
for trade here.
Yah,
At the end of the
mentally.
world, something repositions. Almost gets hang by the rope side. Lock
Hop.
pushed out something.
Hold on,
exploding
ketahuan
at this point.
Heaven 2 lawan 1.
Plan on the spike.
2 lawan 1.
Meteor has
2
truly
lawan
been
1.
a miracle worker
2
at this
lawan 1
point.
nggak
They're
mungkin
backing up into the
dong
corner
tuh
and
kan.
something
Gua nggak
finds him
ngejinx
with the
coy.
4K, and we are going to
Gelo.
map number 3.
Kill 4 loh, something loh. Kalau main jet gini
You can
coy.
feel almost
Mungkin. Ya. Ya emang kebetulan aja tadi. Mungkin coy. Nanti. Iya, kita TDM dulu ya. Jadi bang, omongan lu baru bisa enggak? Aduh, oke. 10-13 coy. Balikin.
Match
13 -nya.
found.
Balikin. 13 juga kan nanti. Ya, gue bilang kayaknya cuma segame doang Ci. Nah, kata dia. Ton.
Let's go.
Wait, Bang
Wik baru saja mengirimkan dukungan
Itu loh Bang
10.000.
Wik.
GW akuin bang, mulut lu beda sama Flaicu. Lu udah boleh ngomong apa aja kok bang.
Oke Bang Wik, diizinkan kan? Oke, aman Bang Wik. Hilang, gue tuh aman. Cok, kan terus saya tuh. Oh iya, sorry, poin. Poin dulu. Pasang guys, dari sekarang pasang. Pasang, jangan lupa pasang. Poin. Perlu ditutup. Cok, loading TDM ini lama parah, Jir. Di sini bebas memilih ya. Saya mau memilih siapa bebas, nggak ada larangan.
Reloading. On my way. Reloading. Go, go, go.
Let's begin.
Go, go, go. I'm out of here.
Come on, get out there. Kill something.
I'm out of here.
Kok bisa berkurang darah, anjing? Kok bisa berkurang darah kalau nggak keluar dari ini?
Reloading.
Bisanya lo lari-lari lo.
Alright. Grounded.
New stage in 10.
Hoi!
Stage 2.
Kenapa sih? Kenapa desas-desus gitu, Cok?
Cranial impact.
Go get him, buddy. Lucky fight. Lucky fight.
New stage in 10.
Ow.
Stage 3.
And you're done. Get out of my way. Nice try. Go, go, go.
Target down.
Kenapa desas terus gua auto anjing?
I'm out of here.
Latih di AE. Oh, sabi nggak sih? Masih ya. Oh, kalah cek gue. Abis ini masih PRX GENG.
Night, night.
10 seconds until stage change.
Yeah. My ult's ready. Smart move.
Final stage.
Ya Allah. Najis.
Show me a target. I've got your
Cok busuk banget men Cok.
Enemy kill. Oh, this way. Get out of my way.
Joke's over. You're dead.
Stay down.
Wah, dibantai coy.
Have all been very much on point here, and having a solid controller, I mean, we know how important that is. It's one of the most important roles that you could have, you know, one of the star player in for any team. That's why Mako is so reveled and has been for many, many years. So I think that this is such a bright start there for Karon, but
gitu
we'll see if that's going to be maintained as we go into Sunset.
Yes, and speaking of that Sunset, speaking of Karon, when they played it against RQ in that map 3, that's when Karon was still adjusting, and he was the only person in the server.
Oh,
Sage.
Sage.
We've got a Sage coming back.
What?
for
No,
Divide.
no duelist coy, no duelist.
Yep, no
Sunset
duelist.
on PRX.
Lots of interesting things we can talk about here.
I see. Here's what I was expecting. I thought maybe they were going
PRX
to
no
do something a little
duelist.
bit different. I thought maybe they're going to try a single controller for this map. Have Mindfreak play the Omen, Divide go over to the Killjoy, and then Forsaken go Yoru alongside the race. But they are completely going off my script.
But I actually kind of like this, especially because they knew that Genji's still running the Sky, and Sky just can't get as much information throughout the round now in this version of Valorant. So that wall, those slow orbs have a lot more value.
How do you W without a duelist? We're about to find out as we head into map number 3 between PRX and GENG. Quack and Asarai, over to you guys.
Thanks for that, our amazing desk. And yeah, I was actually just wanting to add as well, you know, in terms of the questions they were throwing away at us, in a map such as Sunset, where I feel like Cypher has such a high tiering here, how can PRX actually deal with the tripwires when they don't have, let's say, a Sova,
Ada yang
to
masang
break
manja
it
lagi kan
easily?
nih?
Yeah, you're just gonna have to rely on like
Close ya.
I don't know, your bullets, or maybe Forsaken's fragment, but then that's not really what you want to use that for.
Hari ini
So
abis PRX ini ada bleed GE.
a head scratcher. This entirely duelist-less composition is not something that we see all too often.
Ayo,
Actually,
focus,
I don't think
focus.
we ever see it.
Yeah.
But you know, it is PRX after all.
Say that 10 times fast, right?
Whoop.
But
Uy,
I will say on
gelo,
Sunset,
coy.
the Sage walls are pretty insane.
Holy
Because
land
you
up,
can get into
anjir.
some good elevations that the smokes of GENG might not be able to blot out completely. That being this one as well, as we can see here on Market. But GENG is very aware of this, and Divide was almost taken down. But the separation, though, does allow them to get the pickup onto Munchkin. Now, rest of
Perang nggak sih?
PRX
Kanan,
go
perang
back
kanan.
side, and they're just going to work. GENG not in a comfortable
Gila,
spot,
Arun
and
udah
they're just
gigi
gonna have
banget
to
tuh.
try to wiggle their way out of this.
Awas
as we
kiri,
turn
awas
into the 2 versus
kiri.
1, but this could be
Wah,
a quick
sekarat di
transition if Meteor can find some good timings on this, but he gave away that
itu
location of his
baru
because he threw out
teriakan anak
the
keperek.
camera.
Wow.
Just a little bit known and obvious, but at the same time, PRX holding things back. I mean, this is what we want to see from them on the attack, from the defending side.
Yeah.
You've got that Sage wall, which is actually really interesting because it blocks off Market, and now it allows for the rest of them just to, you know, be free in a target-rich environment. We know that they're going to approach from A main. We can just hold our ground and start picking them off bit by bit. Mindfreak with that ghost shot, picking up the double kill, and that's the PRX that we see.
At least for these next couple of rounds, before GENG gets those rifles,
Intrinya,
the Sage
Omen.
wall is going to be somewhat harder to break down, so there should be a lot more safer position for PRX to drop it in. Don't worry about that angle for a good chunk of the round and just be safe. Anyways, Forsaken, Outlaw, Contact, success. Actually, very successful. 3 kills
Nyayur.
for the price of 2 bullets. Very, very good start here for Forsaken.
That's what, 300% success rate? No, that's terrible math. In any
How
case,
could you? We are, you know, we're supposed to be good at math.
Why?
Because we have phones that have calculators, and you can check it.
Good save, good save. That said, yes, I mean, we do have calculators. We have, you know, the credit score being, you know, calculated for us. Forsaken getting a lot of those frags, and it's immediately putting a door stopper to anything that GENG throws at them. Not to mention Mind Freak out the lurk, and also towards the last kill on towards Karen. They kind of knew that this would be where GENG was approaching from, and it's just a good check from Forsaken nonetheless. So interestingly enough, we're swapping around roles so much, from the Cypher now to the KO. Oh, and a Sage Wall that boosts them up. That's what the Outlaw and the Sage is for.
A lot of the elevation, man. I told you, there is going to be so many cheeky positions that you can utilize this with. And of course, the byproduct of just blocking off a certain pathway that GENG will have to break or wait for it to break. Which, as you can see, forces GENG to be a whole lot more respectful of just, you know, pushing up into these certain positions. Ooh, Meteor. Boot spotted.
Yeah, they don't want to lose their full buy run all that quick, right? They
Aduh,
don't want to
ngeri
give
ada
the
nih.
bonus over to PRX. And
Export
so
sih harusnya.
just trying to be very careful off
Baru
it,
gua
cut
bilang
noise, and then the execution through. Texture getting this first frag actually does so much for them because now they have more options. Not to mention Munchkin making use of tiles to walk up front on mid.
Did they close the door on Market, though? That's still open, isn't it not? Okay, there you go. It's still closed up, so Forsaken doesn't have to worry about that for the moment. No aggressive push
ada
out
yang
here
let's
for
hit
GENG
nggak sih?
just yet.
1, 2,
Quack.
3. 3 orang bisa nih.
For,
3 orang let's hit.
or just letting PRX
Nice.
cook for the moment, but since they have to, some of their players have to
Dapat
go for the
yang
half
let's hit.
shields.
Mantap.
That Outlaw, absolutely terrifying. Texture's already here in the front lines, and the damage, the aim, the lethality, absolutely felt. Forsaken pushing in, picks up so many weapons.
Sabar, sabar.
Is an absolute
Aison.
gadget. Caron.
Ada teman, sabar. Chill, nunggu teman.
He's waiting for his teammate though.
Bareng dong, bareng.
Who has the wingman? Oh no, the stun! The way he actually loses is he does not. Caron! Holds it off even through the pressure of utility chasing him down to the ends of the earth.
You can definitely see a slight bit of miscom, a bit of a mishap towards the end of that round. Forsaken starts things off incredibly well. Of course, GENG tempers with that, just trying to play carefully around mid as well, you know, gathering up towards A and then executing in. But then, just at the end of it, although Forsaken picks up the frag, you know, like you mentioned, swapping weapons, something I think wanted to pick up another rifle and just, you know, wasn't quite there to support. Forsaken on characters whiffing, so Caron just pops off, and now back to it. PRX does not want to let up.
Meja Alex sudah mau rubuh ya.
About it, man. This Caron newcomer for GENG already showing why he's,
mampus
you
loh.
know, in that spot.
Chill.
This time, though, it will get
Davai,
punished by
dapat angle.
holding a very
Enak.
high angle here.
Dapat 2.
Not gonna get spotted, so he will get some damage in. But
Satu
Meteor
maksudnya.
somehow manages to get that backside control already, opens it up. Will not have the North up for a moment at least.
Wik baru saja mengirimkan dukungan 10.000. Tenang bang, aman aja. PRX lagi coba-coba ini. Hia.
Benar Bang Wiki, gue setuju. Lu lihat tuh, 3-1 skornya.
To the Blades, to Tondo Gaming, even though it is PRX.
Hey, we're not in Tondo.
True, we are in Sunset. You know, it's located in, what, LA? Thank you.
But you gotta admire the movement, the way that something plays off of this. You know, just securing the round.
My kill!
And also one more point after having spent the Thrasher.
Yeah.
But it's mainly, you know, playing off of that Dizzy. They managed to pick up those kills as GENG tried to make a play through mid. So PRX definitely adapting around it, getting a lot of good information because of their utility.
And again, you know, just to get in a different point, it felt that this is the comeback for something in this specific
Whoa!
this specific
Nyayur!
series. This is Forsaken. He's been putting the hours in that Outlaw, man. I mean, he doesn't even have to deal with the headshot. It's all body shots for him.
It's an answer back to
Nanti
whatever
putaran.
Meteor and Texture did to them on that map.
Sebelum kamu terang, untung aja di
Mind
smoke.
Freak now repositioning. Smoke
Enak soalnya outlaw kalau
market cleanly, but yikes. Is he gonna get thrashed
Bah!
here? Actually into the pit.
Soalnya kalau misalnya tahu low money gitu udah paling enak outlaw sih 2400.
Not afraid, right, to throw his body in so that his teammates can kind of use him for information. And that's kind of how PRX reacts so quickly. As soon as they can confirm that the hit was headed towards the site, you had everyone rotating over and just to kind of set up around it. Forsaken getting those 2 kills just pretty much confirms that the hit was headed towards B.
Okay, I was waiting for like something else for him to say, and he just said guys, so yeah. Anyways, this change of graphic means that we are calling the timeout possibly from GENG. I don't think PRX will, with how much aggression and success they've had in these rounds, be the one. And because you're absolutely right? Outlaw, it's getting so much impact as of the moment. And it seems like, again, GENG can't really find that answer against it because they've just been slow creeping up into positions where Forsaken is ready for them. And another, a double up to this is he's not the only one playing. It's him. Right behind him has been something, right? So if he misses, something immediately throws out the Dizzy at a high enough angle. It flashes the rest of GENG. They back away, allows Forsaken or something to reset the fight and put themselves in a position where they're more ready to go for the second encounter.
That's actually such like the interesting thing about this composition, because the initiators kind of double up as duelists. They don't have the same mobility, but with the flashes that they've got, it's almost like a Phoenix, but better.
Yeah.
And it just really, kind of allows them to make such plays, but it works out on the defense. On the attack, we'll have to wait to see. Right now, GENG has caught the timeout, so they've definitely switched something up, going for the full commit into A instead.
They have
showstopper, man.
Very much committed a lot of utility just to get into A main. They haven't even pushed yet on Link. They haven't committed to push yet on Elbow.
I'm scared about this Elbow.
Truly, but look at how many players are already here on Tiles.
Udah nge-push Tiles bertiga anjir. Agent boleh no duelis ya, lu lihat no push bertiga. Aduh, Aaron yang terciduk. Aaron udah ngebait untuk yang lain, Aaron yang terciduk. Wow!
What a chat moment here from Devi. Texture left on
Gila.
another. He's got the showstopper. Devi, say your prayers, and that's gonna be that GENG. Oh my God, they got pressed by PRX, but they got themselves out of a tight situation.
Bisanya loh.
The man, the myth, the texture.
Yang hidup Texture.
Expensive, but yeah, Texture. What a way to bail out the team, just committing the showstopper. And truly blowing things up to secure one more round for GENG.
Ooh.
That said, though, I mean, PRX, what a good way to push down Tiles.
I love the reaction, that he just did. Was a quick sigh into a ha-ha. All right, same play here for Texture. No contact just yet, though. No, they're really pressing up into this. They're not slowing down compared to last round here, Quack. So it is a full commitment right now for GENG. They want to get a quick start onto this post plat from the looks of things. They want to position for
lagi mantep banget di Genji, Cok.
For the good goods of this,
pas gitu loh dia dapat
and save up as much utility for when PRX tries to come into the site.
Yeah, right. Same thing coming through. They know that PRX is definitely not going to make the exact same play. Something investing into this operator as well. So unless they can get vision, it's going to be so difficult for them to break through. That's a great way to start.
Absolutely. You're into the corner here. Loving the use of the wingman to actually clear corners rather than defuse the spike. If he gets a target, that's an immediate concuss for you. And Texture's just so far. Even if he can win some of the fights here, he's just way far from stopping someone from
Guardian
that
lu
spike.
kill 4 lu bisa pakai lagi. Ini udah beda map.
I mean, maybe it was GENG overextending a little bit outside of the smoke. They wanted just to check for information, but punished just as quick by PRX. I mean, the Outlaw being fired off, but then everyone else just coming in just as quick. And you're talking about Texture, but PRX, the movement that they got. I mean,
lihat cahaya anjir.
On this Omen.
Yeah, there's also that point where Lakia wanted to push out of his flash, but he flashed nobody. And then he just didn't know how many players of PRX deal with as he was holding that specific angle on
Guardian lagi Texture. Aman. Guardian
Off of that
texture.
round now, it's another save for GenG.
Kuring.
Try to play things slow and careful. They don't have all too much. You've got texture on the Guardian.
SM-nya pun
You
bingung
want
lihat
to make the most of what you have.
Apa ini?
Back towards A, and you can see that PRX are changing things up again. You've got control over B shops, B main, and you don't see anything. So you have an idea of what's about to happen. That is why Davai as well as Monyet are playing that far back on A site.
And again, if this is a full commitment of like majority of the players of GenG, if they push out through elbow like this, the slower from Device is gonna stop them dead in their
Bagus
tracks.
banget
With the
posisinya.
paranoia, that is a death sentence here.
Wah, kalau ada wall
for
naik
GenG,
manja
if
tuh
they're not careful,
Davai.
thankfully enough because of the smoke that they
Wow!
it allows them to get access to the site, but
Guardian.
it's
Guardian
a
texture
complete
aman.
and utter disaster when PRX comes out to
Bang
reclaim what was theirs.
aman.
That's just a pretty lovely
Ulti doang
spray
dia yang ngeri.
transfer.
Texture.
I mean, you're absolutely right. That's right. It's just a
Elok
bit of a
cahaya,
death sentence
coy.
for GenG.
Monjet
They see
from
that they don't really
Bali.
have any options. Might as well just commit to something. But what they did not expect was
spray control.
such a setup. First of all,
Oh.
Monyet in an elevated position, and then, like you mentioned, right, Davai
Cahaya
could
lagi
have
yang
thrown
mati.
out the Slorps, but he was also just in position to gun down
tackle lah.
anyone that tries to step through.
Itu tackle,
Now
coy.
we've got some ultimates on the
Tadi
side.
ada yang
of
dekat
PRX. We've
sini.
got 3 coming out from GenG.
Tackle lah.
But, you know,
Kacamata,
they're not really the ones
sekilas.
that you want to initiate fights. GenG needs a catalyst.
Speaking of GenG, they're still going for A.
Jadi
Sanity is doing the same
Mampus
thing
di
over
over
and
lu.
over again.
Thresh
Balikin ya sih.
down mid.
Threshnya.
For different results. And the different result is, you're absolutely right. PRX, they've committed for this mid control. They thought that GenG would actually mix things up and try to go
Hold it
for that
back.
mid play. And it isn't. It doesn't. It's gonna be GenG once again.
Genji
holding
hobi
for
banget
A,
ambil
but
elbow sih emang.
Meteor is lurking. Maybe
That's
that's
the
the difference.
It does buy a little bit of manpower away from the rest of GenG, so Meteor stays towards the back. The rest of them come back towards the front of A. And maybe we
Lihat
just
retake-nya
retake
nih.
Link.
Thrash activated
Lihat.
for the second
Oh.
time. Divide cuts out the
Di
corner.
wall.
Plan denied actually. Texture
cahaya
somehow
mati.
manages to pick up a kill with the
Mana
paint
cerita itu?
shells. No safe space just yet for GenG. They have to start holding some crossfire angles while they start defusing the spike, and he's using his teammate as some sort of third POV info gatherer. Not gonna allow them to push up just yet because of that toxic screen.
Cahaya mati
And here comes the
live.
contact, and Texture is coming out on top of this.
Cahaya,
And
your
it's somehow
duty
working
is not
favorably
over.
for GenG for a moment right now. But
Cahaya.
again, no plan on the spike just yet. Numbers still favoring the Korean side though. Something
Tenang,
happening
Jay.
with the operator.
Ronnya
Dwindles the numbers a little
menang.
bit. The TP comes in around the corner. How close does he know?
Hmm.
Very close. He
Menang.
knows about it.
Wah.
Oh my god, no way, Meteor.
Hampir aja
And he's
anjir,
out in the
bisa
open field,
orang
man,
jangan
out
spot
to
gitu.
just
Tenang
lay
coy,
that
Ronnya
dry and
menang.
PRX full
Yang penting
control.
Ronnya menang, kata
It was a nice
Davai.
flick from Meteor, but yeah, not quite enough.
Sorry,
Full control
Cah.
from PRX.
Anjir.
I thought things were starting to get really dicey, especially up around Link. I mean, if you look at what GenG was about to do,
But he
yes,
secured the
they
round.
wanted
It's
to
okay,
get
nah?
the spike down, but they couldn't quite do it because of the Thrasher that came in, because of this looming
Yakin
threat
mau
that was PRX. However, Texture was just held on the other side.
Your duty
And if you
as
look
a
at the
vet
layout of
is
the map,
not
there's so
over.
much more space around alley, around elbow, and that's what GenG did. But as soon as that op sounded off, man, things started to go wrong. They had the pressure of the time against them.
And playing on the site itself, unless you're getting pushed in, you don't really have great line of sight on any position on A. So
Kalau enggak jadi
that's just
jadi
very
ini ya
bad boo-boos
cadangan
here
ya
for
kalau
GenG.
dia
Boo-boos.
nggak mau
Now they're mixing
kiper.
up.
Yaudah lu
For
nggak usah
how
main.
many rounds was it? Like 4 or 5 rounds straight. They just
Itu
kept
salah
going
salah
A,
satu
and now
bentuk
they're gonna try to go
ospek
pull their way
dari
onto
Look
B.
at the setup on B.
player-player senior di PRX itu.
Something with an op too.
Kena ospek.
Oh wow, they might actually get caught here. They're not careful.
Ya. Hop.
Into the
Hop,
corner is also
mantep
mind
banget. Tetapan
They
manjanya.
come into the trap, man, of PRX here. Come into the spider's web as they
Guardian
said.
texture udah
They're gonna
pasti
have to try to
hancur
pick
lah
up this
main freak.
spike if they can.
Maksudnya something.
Something's just denying it every single time. Meteor's here. Devi knows about it.
Gitu loh PRX lo.
Is it?
Hello
is the world
guys.
back in order now? They're 8-2 here, Quack.
Very much more comfortable, but then, you know, it is still just the first half, right? I still want to see how this composition works on the attacking side. But that said, I mean, this is such an incredible performance. You're talking about it, the PRX fold, but it's also just how they are controlling the map. GenG actually looks a little bit lost, although they possibly have
Dikasih
studied how
bola-bola
PRX played this before.
bola-bola
watching
pelan
AVL,
gitu,
but
Jir.
that was when Jing was still in. That was when they had a raise. This is very different. They're not pushing out all that much, and whenever GENG just hangs back and waits, PRX has a little bit more time to creep up. If they have control over B main every round just like that, with something on the off to vie with the off angle on a Vandal, it is so darn difficult for GENG to fight back and wrangle for map control.
Absolutely. It does stems to how much more control they have on that defending side, right? You were talking about it. Honestly, I was actually thinking, you know, we were conversing before the game started that it could actually be Monyet that picks up the raise because it fits well, right? Jing on AVL was on that raise, Monyet plays the raise, you put two and two together, but no, PRX do a curveball. PRX thinks,
tidak.
Yeah, you can already see
Emosi raut wajahnya
the coach here of
dari Alex.
GENG as they are huddling, hoping to get
Masih
themselves
aman.
these 2 rounds
Masih
as we're
loleh.
almost coming into a close for the first half.
Tell you what though, Asurai, we've got 4 ultimates on the side of GENG. Texture on this showstopper, I think, is the one shining light that they were looking for. They could really use that to break apart PRX. So I wonder if Alex can anticipate this.
Ya dia harus
But looking
lihat
at
si
Divide,
ada sets, iya bener sih.
I mean, he does
Nah,
have
kayak
the
gini
safety
nih.
of Monyet right
Oh.
with them. They don't even
Udah
know
ngepick
Device
tuh.
They are
Aduh,
aware
jatuh.
of it. Oh my god! Device
Wow!
Monyet
Nice backup.
holding his head.
Nice backup,
It's
Cah.
the PRX security system, dude.
Nice!
Just as the smoke comes up, Device gets a whiff of Meteor pushing in, and in just the blink of an eye, Quack, 2 drop down from GENG.
The whole game plan has just been thrown in for a loop. How do you recover now? You've lost Texture, you've lost Meteor, both star fraggers. Maybe Charon, but I don't know how much this Paranoia can really do. Look at the sight
Diperhandal di tepis kah?
has covered. Something, in case someone pushes out mid, you're gonna get fragged. If you go
Si
through market,
si
maybe,
David
but it's a
tadi
full
mau
5-on-3
lagi
retake.
sliding orang soalnya.
Oh, that's the worst
Gelo,
possible
AWP.
opponent they wanted to get
Hop,
the kill for.
nyayur.
Again, there's nothing really that GENG
Nyayur.
could have done in this situation other than go for that close contact. I was thinking they wanted to actually get someone so that they can get into a site. They had the Viper's pit, but the one person that they didn't want to give a kill when they have a pit is something because of the Thrash. So many things that was working against the favor here of GENG.
Just so interesting how this composition is actually so good against GENG right now. Apart from that, also just how Devi was holding off a main.
Bali nih, bos.
I mean, that wall actually, you know, throws off Texture a little bit. If it wasn't there, he might have just felt a lot more free to dive right in with that rocket, but not now. Back off to this though. Last round of the first half, let's just rush into B. Why not?
Imagine if you actually didn't pick up the rifle there. That would have been very, very bad. Anyways, everybody's blind up until this point, but that snake bite man.
Habiskan. Jangan kasih ampun, habiskan. Maju nggak sih pakai wall? Halo siya boy.
There it is, 2 remaining players on GENG, now down to Lakia. He is lighting
kayak
things
gitu
up
dong.
like a Christmas tree.
Kalian sengaja ya barusan, ha?
All for naught as he
Tindak
loses the
dekat,
bullets, and
tapi
there's
nggak
still
mungkin
2
kalah
remaining
sih
players of
tadi.
PRX alive.
Mau dia pakai
Good
Vandal
attempts,
juga.
But still, yeah, this PRX branded grinder
Mana
sold to
dia
you
tuh?
for $19.95. Chew up pepper grinds and everything else along with it. And along with it, some GENG members. Unfortunate, but you know, it's just that last round. They didn't have all that much left in the bank.
Yeah.
And you know, they just want to try whatever they could throw.
What did it say? I wasn't reading it.
My BF loves you more than me.
Oh. It's okay. At least, you know where the extra love comes from, or goes to.
We've got enough love for every single one of these players out there. They're all trying their darndest
slow
to give us a
sama
good
molly-nya
show.
tadi.
But it's definitely not easy right now for GENG to fight off against PRX. 10-2 at the end of the first half.
Apa gua nggak lihat coy? Emang ada apa tadi?
I am wondering about how PRX's
KGP,
composition
kenapa
will
dia
work on
tadi?
the attacking side. It
Emang
also
dia
bears
ngetik
saying
apa?
that now that they've got so many round wins under their
Full
belt,
senyum.
need is 3 more.
Udah ada
That's not
raut
all that
muka
much.
senyum dari
GENG can't even pick up a pistol.
Coach Alex.
And
Lu
it's
lihat
gonna
tuh.
be trouble. But
Udah
that
ada
is something that
senyuman-senyuman
our guest
manja.
was talking about.
Gak.
PRX
Wah, udah
needing
meja
to get
aman
more
coy,
pistol
meja
rounds,
aman.
needing to secure those subsequent rounds after the pistol too.
And this could be the make or break for GENG, because when you're in this position and you lose the pistol round as GENG, you're forced to force buy. You do not want to play 12, let's say 12
Sudah
to
mulai
2
senyum.
or 12 to 2 with nothing, but you know.
So
like
when it's 11-2, you got to straight up just force buy, try to scrounge something up together.
Absolutely.
And that's why there's a little bit more pressure onto these GENG players' shoulders right now. They have been showing us a lot today. Texture has been fragging out. Meteor as well.
Night market.
I also wanted to add as well, Devi, he's been the utility boss on this stage. You know, no safety for himself. He just full blasts, get everything. No shields, all utility. Man is giving his effort.
Agent PRX di satu bisa dipakai ikut.
Bisa. Wall, cross it up. No tripwires to be afraid of.
Wah, ini sih safety banget anjir ngeplannya. Ada wingman, ada wall.
3 players very nearby willing
to fight
inside near the
bisa yuk.
Crazy. Dizzy out as well.
Yellow plus-plusnya.
But look at how cleanly PRX are just breaking them down. This wall is separating fights from GENG. They can't even create these crossfires
anymore.
And now here's the
Allah.
But GENG strikes back, leaving Mindfreak by himself. Does he have the time? Does he have the utility? Does he have the angles with the Sharon?
Aduh, udah ada teriakan,
And
cok.
that
Gue males
is
banget.
a resounding no. GENG, when all looks lost, PRX pushed in, and they counter, they strike back.
This might be a dated reference, but that's a no for me, dog. Dude, I mean, they look so good on that execute. You got Gecko, you got Wingman, little homie, getting the plant in for you. Nobody was there to really do anything because of Devi's wall, like blocking off market that way. But GENG just kind of holds back. I'm feeling a little bit iffy about a full 5-on-5 retake. But as soon as the firefight started to break out around Pillar, PRX started to push past the Pillar, and there was that little bit of a crossfire that GENG made use of. Karen getting those frags out now. Devi just couldn't have a good time. So, GENG moving forward.
Great start, you know, for the second half. We're talking about how it's not yet over just yet. Okay, Monyet finds it.
Mau pecah makanya push.
Quick
Nggak apa-apa juga.
If you're gonna be a Cypher,
harusnya
playing
menang
outside of B,
3-2 mah.
you want the tripwire on the floor because it's harder for the opponents to break it. But obviously they can jump over it. But you know, just a quick FYI. Anyways, going back into this for PRX. They're coming into market. Munchkin hasn't even cleared this out. Can he find something with the judge now that Dizzy has offloaded himself on him? Absolutely not. Texture does force back everything, and then you can see PRX trying to find a different angle at this point. Coming up the top mid, Aaron denies with that Spectre.
So there's a little chance Forsaken with the judge. I don't know how useful it's going to be. Lakia coming up from behind is the one that you want to watch out for.
One enemy remaining.
There he is. Doesn't want to overreach his lead too. Right? They still know that any player of PRX with any upgraded weapon is very much scary to deal with at this point. So they can always just do that. Yep. Put him in a spot that is most advantageous here for GENG. A solid second round in that second half.
Emang si Lamka gitu dia.
Bring back some GENG rounds.
Lamka Iron
dia.
It's
a good bit of damage coming
out. Terus dia hati-hati kalau ketemu Lamka ya.
A couple of these players, Karen, Munchkin, not quite being able to afford the bigger guns. That could be a problem as PRX seeks that match point round.
This is a nice spot. Come on, little homie.
So of course it's a little bit important for them to really play off of this. Either
tenang cuy, chill.
Hang back.
Nih, gini ya.
Yeah.
Logika.
Blade actually clears more of B main.
PRX hanya butuh 3 round.
Some players will just
sedangkan GENG butuh 9 round.
Thrash activated quickly.
Kill ya.
It heard where the tripwire was, but Monyet is very much
yang
controlling
perjalanannya
this
jauh
back
tuh
angle for now.
GENG.
Devi also leading it, or rather defending the gap. So
mereka
PRX,
malah bonus loh, bukannya beli. Lu lihat tuh, gaya banget anjing. Bonus. Udah kalah jauh, bonus lagi. Gak apa ini bos, hantu kelantan player of the year ini.
He was the sword, he was the shield, he was the healer. Man's the Vi, the Swiss Army knife of PRX. What you need him to be, he will become.
The boulder and the mountain.
Macam-macam ya.
I mean, it was a bit of a round against a half buy, but you know, you were talking about the tripwires, you were talking about the executes coming through. All of that is actually just straight up negated because of Davai's barrier orb. Put up, Meteor can't really do anything against it. He might have the tiny gap, and even
Davai ini bliat, this is Davai
it
bliat.
blocked.
Davai hantu kelantan, aku takut hantu.
Big problem because they want to get that punish, right?
Keren banget coy.
Wanyat is so far
Gas nggak sih, Cah?
in front of this.
Ya
Pop
Allah,
flash
Cah.
is gonna blow up in his face. Lakia does get the trade. Does signal the PRX to start moving their way quickly into A main. Devi, because of that ace, also now has his res up. So they're looking for a trade here where they can either bait their teammate for a res or just res them to res them. That makes sense. Oh, Lakia finds one. Tripwire. Meteor holding at the corner of this site. Look at how GENG has just gotten all control in A main. This leaves PRX in such a tight bind. If they realize this, they might be able to push at the back of the site. But at this point, Munchkin and Charon just grinding their gears and cleaning up the rest of PRX, trapped again on elbow.
Yeah, a bit of that inverse where PRX wanted to retake from the earlier half. This time, GENG just making sure that their feet are planted firmly on A site, gaining control over, you know, the side, over Link, Ali, and then Munchkin coming up from the back of the elbow. PRX were the ones stuck in that choke point. So it's a little bit awkward, especially when Manya dies that early on in the round. But again, keep in mind, only 2 rounds away from closing this out. Alex calling the timeout now.
Okay, sorry, I was getting into the vibe of the timeout here. But you know what, GENG, they're getting their second win. It looks like they have a lot more understanding of how to play when they're the ones on that defending arc, right? And it is working a lot more for them. The thing is, I also wanted to add, you know, we were talking a lot about how the barrier orb is negating the tripwires and everything, but if you look at it, they are committing a lot of utility just to go through into the site, which doesn't leave a lot of post-plant abilities here for PRX, so it feels like it's just going to be raw aim. Yeah. But then at that point, GENG can match them up, which, again, works in favor of GENG.
Has been on the pistol.
Exactly.
I don't think PRX does that too often, though, unless especially they have the Thrasher and they really want to make that play work.
Fair enough.
What we haven't really seen too much of is a play from mid. I think Monyet tried to explore that option earlier, but didn't quite work out too well. So it's back to another A. The question is, how do we break through elbow? How do we break through this main push? Lakia is holding such a tight angle. And of course, you've also got Karen, who's possibly going to position himself in an elevated angle up towards either Sight or Link.
Wow, look at how both teams actually scramble from A main. Imagine if PRX just pushed that.
I could see, yeah, a timing push, though. If they throw that Dizzy past the bells, might be good. Maybe they're just waiting for that smoke to go off. There it is.
Charon's already out there, though. Even if he gets like double blind from Paranoia and the Dizzy,
gelap,
he's already
biru.
out. That's why they actually left it, because Meteor has this camera marking up all the way on elbow, spots out something, so that means that this could be a straight-up push. Where are the tripwires for Meteor here? That's going to be the important part right now, as Charon is going to try to feed off of it. Paranoia into the corner. This is going to be a very tricky time for PRX.
Untung aja dia lama.
A lot just to get into that site. Quick little res for
Nice, Cahya. Nice decision.
but immediately gets
Itu namanya
retried by
decision
Lakia.
ya.
Thankfully enough, Monyet was there to punish.
Berani untuk majuin karena tahu pelurunya sedikit.
The numbers advantage for PRX,
ada si
as well
beliau
as the
nih.
long rotation here from the rest of the GENG players still alive.
Yo,
Trade's good enough, but
kenapa
Texture on the
masih
flank.
hidup ya? Aaron, timing.
Boom.
Nice, nice guys.
That was quick. I
One
was
more,
looking
one more.
at
They each got their one.
that maybe Texture could have gotten something,
One
but
more.
you're absolutely right.
One
Pop shot for pop shot, 12 to
more.
5 in PRX. They only need one more.
We're just reading the game really well. Although, yeah, it does not do all too much against Karen. It gives them enough space. And once they had that space, they were able to execute into the site, you know, just making use of the flashes again or going past it. having the players to really come in and trade out for each other. That's PRX style. Every single one of them capable of fracking.
Yeah.
Also, Monyet having a good time. The young gun on the stage.
No. Sorry, I was letting you finish off what you were saying because it seems like GENG was trying to just get that heavy contact on B main, hoping that PRX was huddled up. Not gonna happen this time. PRX immediately activate that double command.
Lihat ya, PRX kalau udah W gaming, lu lihat smoke Arun tuh. Lihat bolong kanan. Kabur. Iya, masa lu. Aduh, tipis banget dia nge-swingnya.
But control of the site and timer started to tick down here for PRX as that spike has been planted down.
Bucat.
Okay, Paranoia is activated. This is good. They're using this to bounce texture off with the showstopper. Flash out for Forsaken.
Nice.
Oh my god, how did they actually get these punishes? But still, Charon lights up the entire house. 2 versus 1. Monyet coming into the corner right now. And it's all up to him. Can he get it? First one. Locks it in. 12-6 and GENG hold on.
Down to 5 HP, really close.
Wah, suwer. Kalau momen kayak tadi sih, wah, menang sih.
A little bit more difficult. GENG stays in the game. I mean, the way the entire site hit breaks out, GENG just couldn't quite hold off. Like you mentioned in that retake, Texture showstopper, you know, not quite being able to do what they wanted because PRX knows exactly how to respond to it.
We'll say though, because of the threats of both that Paranoia and Showstopper, granted they didn't get any kills, feels like that was the opening that Charon needed to get those frags rolling for him. They called immediate down on this wall though. Texture's playing very close into this. This could be an opening for both of the teams. And there it is, man.
Kesel ya, lemes ya. Udah pegang senjata. Mantap.
He needs, or he wants to just stop them from picking up anything right now. He's preparing his snake bite for it. There it is.
Ada senjata, Cah. Dapat nggak Cah itu? Dapat. Ganti shotgun, ngasih ke siapa dia?
There's a whole lot of minutes of walls to just get that wingman in. And if Lockett can get this first frag, which he does,
najis
a lot of
bokong.
access points for both
Kaki
him as
dong,
well as
jangan
Charon
bokong.
coming in through B main.
Mampus lu bucat anjir.
Oh, PRX realizes though, so they have to force fight this. Can Forsaken hold on, let his teammate at least fight for him. Cannot.
Harus nembakin.
And as the dust settles, it's Monyet 3 versus 1. And he's not even planted for him. He's trying to get closer and closer, but that spike is just diffusing in front of his eyes, and he can't do nothing for it.
Good starter step from Lakia. It's a nice idea from PRX. You know, we've seen this execute already with the barrier orb, the gecko coming through.
PRX cuma butuh 1 round.
But towards the end, like you mentioned before,
butuh
the whole
5 round.
thing just comes down to gunplay towards the end of it. All that utility has already been spent, and as Lakia gets the frag from behind, it opens things up so much that the rest of the PRX kind of got, you know, pinched down inside B main. Can't really fight back because of that. And of course the guns that they had, you know.
Yeah, fair enough, you know. Better firepower here for GENG to make do with. One-way smoke always planted there in A main, but without the dog, PRX a lot more confident to actually push through
bisa melawan
this.
GENG lagi ya.
That Sky has not given away his position. So if he can play close enough, a guy like could actually be a punishing play
Nice!
here, but the bait and switch
Banyakin
for
tuh
PRX,
lu
they
nge-pick
immediately
lihat
knew
orang
what was
buta
up.
tapi
Here though,
yang nge-pick yang nggak buta.
quick to go for the trade, but Monyet
Charon datang tuh papa.
just keeps
Mampus
going
lu menang.
it's trade for
3 lawan 3
trade
ayo
for
please
PRX
3 lawan 2 maksudnya.
as these fights
3 lawan
come
2.
to conclusion is looking to get
3 lawan 2 hati-hati aling.
that is just enough for them to
Coy,
work with. Texture
jagain.
corner right now. Finds one. Everybody backs away onto elbow here. They got
Sabar.
utility, they got everything. Munchkin.
Aduh, ada bokong
It's gonna be
banget.
big for him. He needs to find something right
Ada
now.
bokong
with
coba,
this flag.
najis,
Because
najis.
Texture is about to
Wih,
get
anjing lah ganti kamera
sandwiched
tiba-tiba.
in. He's found himself that
Aduh,
fat
satu.
as you were talking about.
Nice, udah ada teriakan nice, nggak mungkin dong. Dia menang tiba-tiba nge-kill elbow, nggak mungkin.
that
GG,
for
coy.
this series. PRX claim it.
Oh,
Nice
itu
little
loh.
setup towards the end
Tenang
there
Bang
from
Wik ya,
Gen
nggak
G,
mungkin
but of
kalah
course
PRX.
dismantles it
Cahya
with
senang, yes,
gunplay and
aman
just
gue di
moving up
PRX
front
coy.
bit by bit.
Menang
Throughout
juga
this
akhirnya.
entire map,
Woo!
we've been seeing
Gak
so
jadi
much
diganti.
and such an interesting
Karir
composition.
aman.
Gen G being able to extend their life by so much longer. 5 rounds on the defense, but still 10-2 in the first half. PRX does it all, and I think something and Forsaken on
Gak
these
jadi
roles.
diripan.
The buy on the Sage also
Aman
has
jaya
quite the
coy.
And again,
Gak jadi
PRX, they've
dihujat.
got a lot of time to cook new things up. We were expecting the same composition that they've had in the previous tournament. Maybe just allotting Monet into the
Santai
agent selection that
lah.
Jing has, but no,
Baru
he's his
juga
own man.
ini
He's
masih
his
ada
own
game
person.
ini
He's
kok,
got
tenang aja
a
tekstur.
whole new slew of
Jangan lemes gitu lah.
things that they can bring out
Oh,
and
balik lagi
utilize,
ke
and
GE.
you saw that. You saw it. You see it here.
Yeah, Shrouded Steps inside of his smokes. I mean,
Lemes
it's the
sih.
same stuff that he
Mana-mana
did in
orang
Global,
kalah lemes sih.
just on a different team and
Kalah
enabling them in a
bahagia
different
tuh
way.
di mana
The
coba?
Paranoids at times also helping out the team so much. I mean, Monyet has been putting
Bani
up good
ketemu
numbers so
meter
far
lagi.
today. The entire team has been doing great, but of course at the same time,
Emang gitu, Jay?
Gen G, I mean, what a way to start off the map.
Emang gitu ya, Jay?
What a way to start off the
Tos-tosannya.
match. Still though, towards the end of it, I think the bigger thing to focus on is just this duelistless composition working out so well. It just shows
sambil jalan
whatever
gitu.
role you play, as long
Foto
as
dulu,
you're
foto.
that good of a player, you can still make it work. Because I'm seeing a big number on the first blood stats under Forsaken and
Cahaya mau.
Loving that.
Tuh,
Again,
biar nggak buzzer ya.
Celebratory.
Cahaya dia tadi
Celebratory
ini
picture
coy.
here for
Kira
PRX.
buzzer.
Feel
Wah,
like a lot
foto
of
di
fans
sana
were,
cita-cita
you know,
DFM bener.
a bit scared
Biar
of what
di-post
happened in
ya.
that first game, but PRX, they
DFM
brought back
belum nih.
status quo.
Cuma bisa sih harusnya.
Yeah, because our predictions was in danger. Anyways, we're gonna pass it on to the interview, so there you go.
Interview dulu, abis itu gue off ya guys. Udah jam 4. Ya anjing. Ini bosnya kah? Yang punya Genji kah?
BTT Pacific Kickoff Day 3's first
Oh iya,
win
cairin
goes to
oke.
PRX. Congratulations!
Yeah! Tuh nggak ada yang meriah-meriahnya anjir. Kasian loh hostnya. Ya butuh Lamka deh buat nemenin hostnya ya kan. Ini kedua Lam. Iwan nggak bisa nonton kok latihan cuy. Gue harus fokus latihan lah demi bisa ditonton juga. Oh, gue nonton doang mah.
네, 작년에 이어서 이번에도 또 우승을 이어갈까 많은 팬분들이 궁금해하고 있는데 이렇게 승리로 시작을 했습니다. 그래서 소감이 어떤지 물어보니까요. 작년에 6개월간의 여정도 굉장히 재밌었는데 이번 시즌 굉장히 좋다고 좋아하는 모습을 보였습니다. 다음 질문도 이어가 보도록 할게요. 되게 맵 1과 맵 2에서 되게 정말 어려운 그런 상황에 많이 닥쳤어요. 그런데 끝내는 반전을 통해서 승리를 이끌어 갔는데 새로운 젠지 팀에 대해서 어떻게 생각하는지 또 물어보겠습니다. It was a neck and neck match on map 1 and map 2, but at the end it was PRX obviously. But how do you think
kalau
about
player
the new
gua
Gen G?
menang Ascension masuk ke franchise kan gua juga ikut babi ya.
GENG plays so great, especially Meteor
ada interview Indo nggak tahu.
Texture so good this guy.
사실 젠지가 정말 좋은 플레이를 오늘 보여줬다고 메테오와 그리고 텍스 선수가 좀 굉장했다고 역시 칭찬을 하는 모습을 보이고 있습니다. 다음 질문도 이어가 보도록 할게요. 이 맵3 선셋에서 좀 신기한 조합을 보였어요. 타격대 없이 또
Ya, nutupin muka tapi kamera dari samping.
에임도 있었죠. 이거에 대해서 something
Udah pasti
선수에게
pada tahu
물어보겠습니다.
netizen mah IG-nya.
Sunset, it was unusual calm to see no duelist, Sage, and also Manya's crazy aim. So can you tell me about the behind stories of this?
In off season, when Sunset came out, we was cooking so hard. We never
Gua nggak
take
bisa
a break,
gua harus
even
off.
one day. So I
interview
guess
dong
it's hard work on Sunset, and it's meaning we can play without duelist in Valorant.
Oh, okay. So you were like really prepared for this. 네, 저희가 오프 시즌에서도 이 선셋이 맵에 나오자마자 굉장히 열심히 연습했고 그 열심히 연습한 결과 그 노력이 오늘 보이지 않았나 싶다고 아주 겸손한 모습을 또다시 보여줬습니다. So now we have a little present to give to the fans here. You know what it is?
Fanbase-nya grill only,
네,
coy.
이제 인형을 또 팬분들께 전달할 순서인데요. You can write your signature on the back or wherever you want.
Koin buat apa? Tabung aja, nanti bisa jadi sesuatu.
썸띵 선수의 행운의 기운이 깃든 사인이 이 인형에 들어갑니다. Who's
사인
the
dulu,
lucky one to
사인.
get this doll?
안지.
You can go up to the audience and toss it to them. Huh? No, you can go like, yeah. Please throw it nicely. Someone can catch it. Yes, at the front row, the lucky fan got it. Thank you, something. It was nice talking to you.
Si something
And good luck to your
ngelempar yang dapat fansnya Genji.
지금까지 something 선수와 인터뷰 해봤습니다.
Disimpan
This was
apa
something
di-
of PRX, and I'll toss it to the desk.
Mana Indo, mana Indo?
Halo, halo, halo.
Halo.
Halo? Iya, ya, halo. Udah.
Apa kabar? Baik.
Baik.
Baik, guys. Gue mau nanya dong, Cahya di map pertama itu kenapa tuh? What happened ya now tuh? Kayak kelihatan ke counter sama Genji soalnya.
Lebih ke belum biasa aja sih menurut gua. Soalnya mainnya tadi belum sync kan di Breeze, kayak belum masuk lah mainnya tadi karena first match kita di turnamen ini juga kan.
Oh, first match.
Terus second map udah reset ya.
Second map baru panas lah ya, baru sequence.
Ya, istilahnya baru panas lah.
Baru panas lah ya. Terus kalau misalnya yang soal resurrection di Sunset tuh apa kunsnya?
Nggak jelas. Si Davai cuma kan ya udahlah, gua kan main for team kan, gua udah nggak peduli, ya udah dia res gua terus bilang bye bye, ya udah. Pas udah masuk lagi mati gua.
Kena KD itu tadi aja.
I cannot hear the mic.
Halo?
Ya, I cannot hear the mic. Halo, ya.
Halo, ada?
Ada.
Kayaknya lu doang deh.
Ada.
Tapi kita dengar suara lu kok, tenang aja.
Ya, cuma gua nggak bisa jawab pertanyaannya.
Oh ya juga.
Tapi suara kita masuk nggak, Cah?
Masuk,
Halo?
lu masuk.
Nggak kedeng. Iya.
Masuk ya?
Halo, udah.
Halo, udah.
Oke.
Masuk.
Oke. Alright, tenang. Chill.
Ngamuk nih.
Kayaknya ngamuk gara-gara resurrection ke Dapa ini. Dari Dapa ini. Untuk Sunset ini, apakah ini pocket strat yang kalian udah siapin lama, cook dari Scream, atau gimana nih dengan no duelist ini nih?
Emang udah lama sih siapinnya, maksudnya kayak kan waktu itu di Afrika TV kan si JJ masih main ya, jadinya ya udah nggak usah liatin. Cuma kom ini udah base-nya udah 4 bulan 5 bulan kali ya.
Oh, berarti udah bisa dibilang jadi draft yang pakem ya untuk di Sunset. Sekarang Cahya, Genji yang sekarang sama Genji yang dulu peningkatannya berapa persen, Cah?
70% lah, jauh lebih jago banget. Jago-jago, tembakannya sakit-sakit semua Genji.
Oke, last question.
Duluan, oke, ini bentar lagi nih.
Kan
last question
baru ibaratnya debut di VCT Pacific sebagai salah satu roster dari PRX ya. Sebelumnya kan sama tim yang lain. Lebih fun yang mana sih, Cah?
Ini pertanyaannya jebak nih emang.
Enggak lah, pasti PRX sih.
Ya, gue bisa bilang PRX sih, karena
jadi sama Goat yang itu gimana? Sama Goat nggak mau.
Wah, parah sih. Karena energi gue lebih ke bawah sih di PRX, jadinya harusnya PRX.
Cocok sih energi Cahya buat PRX.
Oh, berarti lebih fun ya di PRX ya?
Iya. Ya emang lebih fun kan karena timnya fun, emang fun kan.
Oh, jadi nggak fun.
Enggak lah. Kalau di GE kan gue mainnya lebih serius, gimana sih?
Canda.
Alright, congrats ya buat kalian yang udah berhasil
Ya, thank you.
Congrats,
Thank you.
Good luck, Cah.
Asik.
Silakan coreback abis ini.
Oke, guys. Kayaknya gue harus off karena udah jam 4 juga. Jadi kalian bisa nonton stream yang lain yang masih watch party. Gue kalau misalnya libur gue hajar coy. Tapi kan gue juga pengen sana lah. Harus latihan fokus. Nobar terus mah. Ya semuanya yang udah nonton di yang lain tuh kayaknya masih banyak deh yang watch party coy. Oke. Besok kalau misalnya ada match jam 1 lagi gue bisa nonton lagi. Nah, gue bangun pagi sekarang. Oke, jangan lupa dukung T1 ya, dukung kokoh ya. Cek jam 3 adanya. Oh iya, what the fuck, man. Oke, semuanya thank you. Cabut guys, bye-bye. See you, thank you Bang Wik dan kawan-kawan. Jaga kesehatan guys. WP nggak berisik. Gua doang sih ya. 5 menit. Pak gendut.